He's a rookie in this league, but I was watching him take some ground balls during batting practice today, and he's got a really – there's something about some of these Latino players that come up from the DR in Cuba. You just can't believe how smooth they are with their hands, the way they get that quick transfer from the glove to the ball to the throwing hand.
Speaking of smooth, it was a pretty smooth defensive debut on Friday for Tim Holick. Had a nice play at first. He'll hit now in the 3 spot. Good break to get back to the plate there by Keys, 0-1.
That's a real good start there, an off-speed pitch that catches the outside of the plate, knowing full well that early in the count, Holick would not swing at that one.
Kicks and deals. Goes around and finds the zone. 0-2. Holick's now behind.
Looks like a pitcher-friendly zone from the home plate umpire thus far. We've had 2 or 3 players turn around. But frankly, everybody outside of the batter's box loves a pitcher-friendly strike zone.
Holick down 0-2. That one sent foul. Over into the visitors' bullpen. Bounces into the parking lot. And the watch begins. Keep an eye on that truck. Where are you parked today, Brian?
Today I parked underneath the tree up in the front lot there, so
Good
I
man.
feel like I'm probably safe.
Yes,
going
indeed.
on over on the other diamond, and they had just fouled one off into the parking lot as I drove up to park over there, and I thought, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'll risk a parking ticket as opposed to risk my windshield.
Some of those kids got some power on them, too.
They throw hard, and the ball will end up in the parking lot from both diamonds.
Pulls it on the catch, but does get it to the plate. 3rd out of the inning recorded pretty smoothly for the Majors, but the Red Sox at least starting to put the ball in play on some very real chances.
Just got kind of inside out at that one, so he couldn't get a whole lot on it. Fisted it out to first base, had a funky spin on it. And it was a nice play by Linehan, the home run hitter, to make sure he smothered the ball, blocked it, picked it up, calmly went to first base, got the 3rd out.
Brantford will return to the field on defense following up that game on Friday. That was a 13-1 dropped game to Welland. The Jackfish very next night looked really solid hosting Guelph again, so that Jackfish team, really no surprise they're going to come back and be a force again this year. So foot down, it looked very close. It looked like
I thought he just got back down to planet Earth there in time to get an out. Manager Terry Smith just kind of peeking his nose out there.
It's where you wish you had replay review, because it looked like he definitely goes up to grab the catch. I couldn't tell if his foot hit the bag on the way back down. Is that kind of the approach in that play when you're the player on second base? Are you just trying to get your foot down and worry about the bag you're on, or are you just getting it straight off to first?
Make sure you get the out when the throw is high, which was it was tough for Linehan because it was a really nice pick. I thought that ball might get through, but really good lateral motion and a nice pick to get it up, but just hurried to throw a little bit and ended up.
They get him. Pick off at first, and Corosis steps too far off. So the walk and the fielder's choice put Ian Antone and Corosis on one after another, but both on the base paths. They get taken off by the London defense. If you're just joining us, we're up to the up 2 outs. Cassidy Watt, the 3rd batter, bottom of the 2nd. London leads 2-0 here at Arnold Anderson. Great movement there to find its way back for strike 1.
So fundamentally there, when you're on first base with a left-handed pitcher, if you are not running, then your first motion should be back toward first base.
Pitcher going to field. Keys to first. Watt recorded out easily, and the inning is over. The London defense had a couple different plays there, and I think we can agree the defensive fundamentals looking pretty strong for the Majors.
Well, like I say, it was a great pick by Linehan, but a bad throw. A nice job by the shortstop, Escato, to get his feet back on the base to get the out. But again, when you're a runner on first base with a left-handed pitcher, when he begins his motion, your first motion should always be back toward first. One step back in case he is throwing over, unless you're going. If you are stealing, then you go on first motion. Otherwise, it's one step back toward first, because you really don't know until the foot is up whether he's going home or going to first, especially if he's got a good move like Keys does. If the guy doesn't have a good move, then you can get away with a little more. But Keys has a very good move to first base, as he showed to Ian Antone in the previous at-bat. So, like I said, the first thing you got to do is take one step back, and then when he goes to the plate, you can take your secondary lead.
Well, for those of you just joining us, we thank you for tuning in to Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball. I'm Marshall Crocker on play-by-play, and the gentleman alongside me, Brian Hawley. We'll be joining you all season here on Fridays, Sundays, and everything in between. It's been quite a start here for the London Majors. Only 3 hits through 2 innings, but when they hit the ball, they hit it hard. A pair of home runs has the roadside up 2-0 through 2 innings. And here comes to the mound once again Connor Irvin, who he got off to a relatively strong start, got ahead in some counts, doing a good job finding the zone, but those couple pitches that were anywhere hittable, London took him out of the ballpark.
Yeah, like I said, the wind it's a real rarity in this park to see balls carrying out of the ballpark, but if they're going to go out anywhere, it's going to be right center.
Hottest, one of the hotter games we've had this season so far in the Canadian Baseball League 2026 campaign. Through the first weekend, we're sitting up and around 29 degrees, clear skies, only a couple clouds. Parking lots are packed. Baseball all over Cockshut Park, whether it's the Junior Red Sox field or the even younger kids playing out there on the far side of the park.
Yeah, we got the U16s going on over to our right, and then looks to be some Pee Wee baseball going on over on the back diamond there. So it's nice to have a Victoria Day weekend where the kids are out playing baseball, man. Even the big kids.
So the lineup turns back over for the Majors. Michael Escato is going to come back up for his second time today. The shortstop struck out looking to open up the ball game.
Yeah, he got fooled by a 3-2 inside slider that he didn't like the call, but it looked like a pretty good pitch to me.
First ball low in the dirt for ball 1.
Although could be accused of bias on occasion, possibly.
The pitch. Swung and missed on, evens the count up.
Well, Escato is a good hitter, but he clearly is struggling with that off-speed pitch. That he's getting a steady diet of off-speed pitches from Irvin.
See where Irvin goes with the 1-1. Right down the middle, doesn't catch up to it. Ball over our heads, 1-2.
Just got that up enough to get soft contact, and now he's ahead in the count. And so after throwing hard up and out, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to replicate the strikeout pitch, that inside slider. The reason for that is twofold. Number one, you know you have that pitch, and number two, you know the batter's thinking about it, so even if the pitch is off the plate, you may get him to swing at it.
The pitch. That one will get out of the way of the glove of Watt. Luckily, no base runners, so the wild ball has no consequences for the moment. Evened up at 2 apiece.
Oh, there it is, yep.
There it is. Does catch the inside part of the plate. Really good placement there by Irvin so far on the right-handed batters, getting that ball in a very unhittable spot that still finds the zone.
See, and that wasn't the slider. That was the changeup. You could see the bend going from a pronated position on his pitching hand. And that is 2 strikeout looking and 2 times complaining to the umpire that the pitch was a ball. So
Caro tips that one back foul, 0-1.
It would seem that Connor Irvine is in Escato's head a little bit.
Roberto Caro, the center fielder, he flew out to Paulo's back in the first inning. That pitch well struck, but foul.
Heads up.
Almost hit the car driving through the lot.
I feel like he slammed on his brakes there, and the ball just went right in front. That was it's just one of those things you see. He's driving around with his trunk open, but he just seemed to slam on the brakes as the pitch had it. He must have been watching. That was kind of cool, actually.
Got to get a body out there to interview that guy. That would have been quite the game day experience. That one well too far wide of the plate, 1-2. So 3, now 4 Ks for Connor Irvin. Racking up the strikeouts early. Not number 5, a little bit too low, 2-2. Again, Roberto Caro at the plate. Trent Lenahan, the man on deck. He hit a homer, put the London Majors on the board 2 innings ago. Irvin with the 2-2 to the lefty Caro.
Really good take there. That was a close pitch. think the way he hit that ball hard on the inside, you want to just come in off the plate on him. Oh, it's a shame that he bounced that.
This is the zone, too low. He'll take the free pass. First walk administered today by Irvin. It's Caro going to first.
I got to tell you, it's refreshing seeing the volume coming out of that London dugout. They're very supportive of their teammates.
So Trent Lenahan now up to the plate, and we talked about it. Irvin was seeing him well. He was moving the eye level on him in that first at bat, but once Lenahan caught a pitch, he could hit. That one left the park pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was just up and out over the plate, so I think the key here is to
try the pick, not in time. Runner safe.
I think the key here is the ability to bust him in a little bit. He's a big, tall kid with long arms, and he's looking for a pitch out over the plate that he can drive, so up and in might be the key here. That is another big leadoff from a London runner.
That one up too high on Lenahan. Ball one. Deolio now on deck.
Yeah, there's no reprieve after Linehan. Deolio is a tough customer too, so you really want to try and see if you can get a ground ball here. Runner.
Pitch, runner goes inside. Watt. Better throw there, a little too high, not in time. Runner safe.
Got a real good jump there. They're taking huge leads. Very aggressive on the bases, kind of reminiscent of Friday night with Welland.
So runner now in scoring position here for Lenahan.
Takes away the double play, plus it's a 2-0 count now, so it's going to take a good pitch here to make some good things happen for Brantford.
He's trying to find that inside part of the plate again. Doesn't that time. 3-0 now the count. Center to your picture, that's Roberto Caro. He's on base. Walked, then stole second.
Still don't want to give in here.
3-1 pitch.
Nice pitch. Oh.
Home plate umpire disagrees. Free pass administered to Lenahan. Runners now on first and second. Very close there, and he knows his spot. He's hitting about 50-50 right on the edge of the paint there on the inside part on the righties.
So here's the good news is that Deolio, as dangerous as he is, he's a catcher and is a pretty good double play candidate. So if you can get Deolio to roll over on something, you've got a good chance to get out of this inning.
Lenahan 6'5", 215 on first base. We'll see what kind of legs he's got. That one struck up in the air. Tracking out towards Paulos. Barely needs to move to make the play. The throw into third. It's close. It's close. What a throw! Ethan Paulos. Call him the quarterback of the outfield for a reason. A frozen rope retires Caro at third.
Big mistake there. You can't try and advance from second to third on a medium length fly ball to center field. There isn't even any reason to tag there. You may as well go halfway and try to, if the ball happens to land for whatever, you got a chance to score. But you're not going anywhere on that one. And he got thrown out by a good 10, 12 feet there. Great throw by Paulus. It was right on the money. And I guess that serves notice for the rest of the game. You don't want to run on Ethan Paulus.
That one popped the crowd here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Great to see our fans coming out for, well, what's a pretty prototypical day of baseball. A little bit on the hot side, but you could barely ask for better weather for a great Sunday of ball.
It is a beautiful shirt sleeve day today, and nice to be out at the ballpark on such a nice day. And really, traditionally, we really haven't had this kind of nice weather.
No, we have not.
We were so lucky at my son's wedding yesterday where there were a lot of rainstorms going on. I know Brantford got hammered with a rainstorm last night. But up in Goderich, it was nothing but sunshine and blue skies. So wonderful day up there. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my son Jimmy and his new wife Katie. And, hopefully they have a wonderful life together with their daughter Jade, my granddaughter. And so, yes, that was wonderful and nice to be back at the ballpark, getting on with business.
You were a Sunday Friday from a perfect weekend, Brian. You almost had it all made for you.
I tell you what, man, it's a great long weekend. We got a sunny day here. We're at the ballpark. I might even play some golf tomorrow, so who knows? Some days it's good to be me.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. I want to thank our sponsors very quickly. Mr. Lubin Tires, as always, our presenting sponsor here on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball. Thanks to Mr. Lubin Tires. We also thank Popeyes Supplements. for all their work. And presenting Brian's Player of the Game was won in the first game of our season by, I believe, Jacob Cantor.
Cantor, yep.
We'll see who gets the second ever award. Montana's Barbecue and Bar. Want to thank them as well. And finally, want to thank the Terry Summerhays team on behalf of RE/MAX for their support of Brantford Red Sox baseball. Here we are back up on the offensive side, bottom of the third inning here. Up to the plate comes Lucas Lefebvre. First pitch from Keys finds the wide side, 0-1.
Yeah, the quirk of the Brantford batting order, back-to-back Lucases. You got Lucas and Tukas, I guess, maybe.
Oh, that one struck quite well. Out to left. Gets some air under it, not finding its way out. Play made by the left fielder there for the Majors. Good start there for Babiuk. First ball he's seen out there on defense today.
Just missed that one. He got a good pitch to hit, got a good swing on it, and just got underneath it.
Sometimes wind giveth, sometimes wind taketh away. I think it was the latter on that one.
Truly.
As Lucas Bateman now up to the plate, today's designated hitter. Bateman went 1 for 3 on Friday. That one in and too low, but great horizontal movement on that slider. Apollo's now on deck. He'll hit in the 9-hole. First base umpire coming over to chat with Terry Smith. Quick discussion here. Maybe chatting with the placement of bat and a
I think it
potentially a fan.
We have an issue with a fan, although I really don't know what that issue might be.
Wondering if it's something maybe reflective. It's always a possibility. Well, the pitch thrown by Keys. That one well too far off the plate. 2-0 now. Bateman takes the advantage. Very curious situation there, but it's been resolved. 2-0. That one catches the bat, but sent back at the backstop. 2-1.
Well, Bateman is a big, strong lad. He's a big guy for a second baseman. You don't really see him that big, but
nice pitch there with some good velocity. It's going to go 2-2. Yeah, Bateman 5'10", but 205 pounds. Waterloo, Ontario's own. No career home runs here in the CBL as of yet. That one struck. Finds the shortstop. Will he make the play on it? Nice throw there by Escado. Records the out by about a half step at first base. So here comes Ethan Paulos. Still looking for his first hit of the new season. Struck out looking twice on Friday. Did have a good ball with some speed under it. Flew out to the center fielder on Friday.
Well, that was interesting. I thought maybe that ball was going to get through the way he hit it, but the infield slowed it right down, didn't it?
Escado's got great range there defensively.
It really lost a lot of speed once it got past the pitcher's mound.
So Keys against Paulos, and should he be needed in this inning, Brody Black back in the on-deck circle. That one catches the bottom for 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. Strikeout swinging by Keys. Paulos just barely swings over it. Full extension with the hands. Keys doing a great job there to switch up where his batters are looking. Got great stuff, great variety in his pitch mix. Well, we're going to step away for a 90-second break as we turn over to the top of the fourth inning, making much better pace for the ball game than we did there on Friday. We hope you're all enjoying on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube or wherever you may be watching us, whether you're a London fan, a Brantford fan, or anything in between. We'll be right back in just a moment as the London Majors head back on offense on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires. And welcome back to Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball, presented by our presenting sponsor, Mr. Lube and Tires. Marshall Crocker joined by Brian Hawley up here in the commentary booth. And, well, it's been a strong start, I'd say, for both sides in certain areas. Connor Irvin now exits the ballgame after a strong performance where he recorded. And in the end, it was 4 strikeouts, 2 of them both looking to Escato. It was a very strong start, but he's now being relieved by Mr. Aiden Armitage.
Yeah, it's still early in the season. They're not going to stretch guys out until a little bit later on. Plus, you want to get everybody in for their first assignments. Aiden Armitage is a guy who throws a lot. He had 2 games started last year, total of 66 innings, 60 strikeouts. The only problem with Aiden is that his walks are a little bit elevated. And so location, the ability to get ahead and stay ahead. He's got a very live arm. He's what they call a long, lanky pitcher. And he's got a lot of moving parts to that delivery, and that's part of the reason why sometimes he will struggle a little bit with control. But he's got a really good slider, and a really, really live fastball.
So here's Starling Joseph, the designated hitter, up for his second time today. Struck out in his only plate appearance thus far. First pitch from Armitage, wide and in the dirt, ball 1. Armitage has a great mind for the game, a great mind for his mechanics. Made an appearance on the CBL Changeup podcast not too long ago. Really good interview with good pal of mine, Mark Perry, if you want to learn a little bit about the technical side of pitcher prep. That one swung on and missed by Joseph. Evens it up at 1 apiece.
That's that late breaking slider that is tough on right-handed hitters. He starts it off on the outer part of the plate, and by the time you realize it's not going to be a strike, it's too late. You're already committed to the swing.
Great balance of velocity and break on that slider.
Sorry, yeah. Now when you get him leaning out over the plate, good time to run a fastball in on his hands. Oh, he went back with the slider.
Tried the slider again. That one did miss. 2-1.
Here's our new crack bat boy, Jacob, hard at work as usual.
So 2-1 here to Joseph. Zdunich now on deck after homering his first time up. Armitage kicks and deals. That one popped up and over. A little behind it was Joseph. 2-2 now.
Good spot there, although, like I said, with 2 strikes and him thinking about that outside slider, I would really like to see a fastball. I don't think you need to throw him a strike here. I think you can throw one on the inner part of the plate and let it run in on his hands, and I think he'll get himself out.
Here's the 2-2. Crazy break on the curve there, but a little too high of his own. Full count.
Yeah, just missed his release point there and got away on him a little bit.
Can see it caught Joseph off guard, though. He was not swinging at that no matter where it landed.
Yeah, that was not a comfortable pitch for him to see. He started off coming at his face, I think.
Here's the full count pitch. Armitage, that one's put in play. He'll field it. Armitage to first. Too high. No tag, and he comes off the bag. Armitage stumbles as he's trying to play that one. Pitcher fielding, always a question here for the Red Sox. And that one, he came close, but Joseph legs it out. Yeah, he stumbled as he went down to grab the ball. Great job, though, as he was diving, falling over to at least get that one backhanded up and towards Tim Holick, who he's got great range, but no range in the world could have got that one down in time. Here's Tucker Zdunich back up again after again homering to right field back in the second inning.
Well, that's a real shame. He got soft contact there, made a great pitch, but A.J. Carosis at second base was playing extremely deep and couldn't get in time. And so Armitage had to play that, had to try kind of a pseudo power feed there to get it to first base, but ended up pulling Holick off the base.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. Joseph on first. That one a little too low and wide. Too much break. 2-0. Just a reminder, it is Carosis on second today. Played third in replacement for Ortega on Friday. That's Lefebvre out there on third defensively.
Yeah, Bateman DHing today.
Of course, Cantor at short. 2-0 pitch is too low as well. He's getting good movement on it, just not finding the zone. So 3-0 the count. You got to just put something over the plate here. Stunich, not a guy you want to give a 3-out count to with a man on base. That one does find the zone right down the middle for 3-1. Jarrett Burney now on deck. Singled, then stole a base back in the second inning. The 3-1, they're going to pick at first. Joseph back in time, no luck. Joseph about a 2-step lead on first. And too low. Another free walk. Joseph will advance. Dunich to first. And here comes Jarrett Burney with 2 on. Cass is going to come out to chat with his pitcher. The battery going to see if they can get on the same page here.
Yeah, unfortunately, there weren't many competitive pitches in there. Got to throw strikes. You know, that's been the thing. I had a chat with pitching coach Greg Ropp before the game, and that's, you know, again, too many walks on Friday night. And so that old line about get ahead and stay ahead, be aggressive, trust your stuff, throw strikes, get your defense in the game.
Yeah, no walks administered by the Red Sox pitching staff through the first 5 innings on Friday, and the last 4 innings, 9 walks.
And that's where the wheels fell off. You know, like I said, it was 8 runs on 3 hits in the 7th inning there. So
the other thing about walks, we talk about pitch count. That's a guaranteed 4 pitches you're throwing with no positive outcome. Here's Burney.
And
that one bunted foul. Almost good placement there. Good first twitch instinct there by Lefebvre to get a hand on that.
Well, first and second with nobody out. So it looks like they're running the wheel, what that's called a wheel play, and you only do this with a right-handed hitter, generally speaking. You bring the third baseman into charge, and the shortstop's responsibility is to beat the runner on second to third. Now, if they ever wanted to try a pickoff at second base, he is a mile off the base there.
That one's off too wide. Showed bunt once again.
I'd like to see A.J. Carosa stick a little closer to second base to keep that runner closer.
Neither Crozes nor Lefebvre have really got an opportunity to show their stuff on defense today. Not too many competitive ground balls in the infield.
You see what I mean? I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but the guy's going to lead off at least as far as the second baseman is away from the bag, which gives him 15, 18 feet off the bag. So if you're a little closer, especially if you're expecting a bunt, you can come closer into the baseline and a couple of steps closer to second base. Keep that guy closer to second. Twofold. Number one, it gives you more time to make a play at third on a bunt, and it also gives you more time to throw to runner at home if there's a base hit.
Armitage resets after stepping off. Here's the 1-1. That one too wide off the far side again. He's getting closer to that outside corner. Still 2-1.
This is the part here. This pitch needs to be a strike. If they're going to bunt and give you an out, then go ahead and let him bunt it and take the out. But don't go to 3-1 here where he's got a chance to drive a ball.
The 2-1 pitch. That one shot straight down.
Very good pitch there. They decided to take the bunt off at 2-1. Now you got 2-2. You take the bunt away. You can reset your infield.
Seen some cloud cover overhead for the first time here today. Gives a bit of a break to the beating down of the heat. 2-2, big pitch here for Armitage with 2 on. No outs yet in the inning.
I feel like a fastball just above the belt might get a strikeout here.
That one is put in play. Chance at the double for 1. Gets him at first. Great extension there by Tim Holick to record the second out, and the base runner on second will go to third. No runs come around.
Well, what a fantastic play. That was not an easy ball to get a double play out of. It wasn't really crisply hit. Good charge by A.J. Carosa. Picks the ball up cleanly. Power feed to second base and a great relay. Great turn by Jacob Kantner and a great stretch by Holick at first. Very nice play all the way around. A really, really important double play ball there because that third run getting across this early in the game makes a big difference.
The 4-6-3 will bring up Louis Jean. That one too far. Nicely caught by Watt to prevent the wild pitch. 1-0. Remember, Jean was called for batter interference on what would have been a stolen base back in the second inning. Retired him and sent Jared Burney back to first. Jaden Babiuk now on deck. Swung and missed on there. Evens it up at 1.
Really nice slider there. Pulled the string on it.
Remember, Joseph there on third base.
Now you got him leaning in, and so the running fastball in on the hands plays here if you want to try it. Went back outside.
Yeah, far outside again. 2-1.
See what they want to do here. Maybe go back to the off speed.
2-1 pitch. Got good movement. Can't creep its way back. 3-1.
He's just nibbling a little bit here. Time to get a little more aggressive. Trust your stuff. Make him put the ball in play. You got a good defense behind you.
Here's the 3-1. That one chopped. Over to Cantor. Clean grab. Clean throw. Retires the side. Nice job there by Holick once again, getting good extension on first. Jacob Cantor pretty much spotless so far at that shortstop position on defense this year.
He looks very comfortable out there. He did exactly the right thing. You want to be fielding the ball standing still, but you also want to charge. So you charge in as far as you can get, field the ball standing still, pick it up cleanly, right, left field, right, left throw a seed across the diamond and get him at first base. Very well done.
Well, defensive execution currently saving the Red Sox here a little bit. The London Majors have put 6 men on base at some point, if you include the 2 home runs through the first 4 innings. Through the first 3 there for the Red Sox, they've only had 1 runner, and then, of course, the fielder's choice to swap runners, and they're still only down 2.
Yep, absolutely. And really, it's a situation where they're not having a lot of really good at-bats so far the first time around, with rare exceptions. So Brody Black, who is yet to break out this year, I'm really looking forward to him having a good at-bat here, because we are back to the top of the order. So you've got Black and Cantor and Holick. And, of course, we haven't seen Holick really hammer one yet either. So it's they're about 5 ABs into the season. They've all seen the pitcher now. Some of these guys saw him last year. And so now's the time that you really want to start getting aggressive, see ball, hit ball, get a pitch to hit, and drive it somewhere.
Let's get a second, if we can, potentially to take a look at the Brantford offense, because the way the lineup is composed this year, it's a little bit different than London's got rolling today. They have a true kind of 2 pieces of the lineup where you go Escato and Caro, 2 speedy base runners who have clearly showed good discipline. Then the triple header of Lenahan, DeOlio, and Joseph, true power all the way through the middle. And then it kind of resets again with Burney at the 7. The Red Sox, not quite as obvious of a power profile in the middle, especially with Carosis subbing in for Ortega.
Right. Well, you've got Lenahan who really lengthens that London lineup, because, last year they really struggled to score runs. Joseph would bat ahead of DeOlio, but after DeOlio there wasn't a whole lot. So the fact that you have Lenahan to bat ahead of DeOlio, you got DeOlio protecting Lenahan, Joseph protecting Olio, and of course Zdenic, who's a good hitter as well, lengthens that lineup. So that even if you're not getting a whole lot of production out of the bottom third, you're still scoring runs in the top of the order. And, of course, as most years, they are difficult to score on.
The 24-year-old from Stouffville, Ontario, Brody Black, up at the plate. First pitch, great break to get down in for 0-1. This will be the second time Black has seen Keys. Struck out last time. Now it's some horizontal break that can't creep its way back. 1-1.
Yeah, he just kept going outside there to see how far he could get a call from the umpire, and clearly he found out that the first pitch is the limit.
A 1-2 low. Black now ahead 2-1. So Jacob Cantor on deck. No outs in the inning. That one struck out over to center.
That's well struck.
Ranging back over his shoulder. That one's
Hey!
gone. Brody Black sends a ball to a souvenir, a block over. And for the first time this year, the home run chime will play at Arnold Anderson. Brody Black, his first of the season, puts the Red Sox on the board, 2-1. Right field is a happy spot today for these hitters.
That was dead center. That was a bomb, man. He got all of that and sent a rocket out to center field. And you could see the center fielder.
That's Caro.
Caro turned right away and fired back toward the fence, but he had no chance. Got it up into that wind stream, and it was long gone.
First pitch here, a ball to Jacob Cantor. Well, Black is back. He had some great power in 25. Putting it on display there again. 3 home runs today after none on Friday here at Arnold Anderson. That ball catches a piece off the tip of the bat. So an even count here. So Cantor up. Tim Holick now on deck. Pitch. That one too close on the hands. Nice take for 2-1.
Good take there, and that you'll notice that from the center field camera where guys sometimes they just kind of spin their back. They're not leaning into it per se. They're just kind of, you have to turn your back if a pitch comes inside, and if the ball happens to hit you on that elbow pad, you take first base and say thank you very much.
That one sent straight to the third baseman. Clean throw, clean snag. Records the out on Cantor. Nice throw there by Louis Jean. So here's Tim Holick, and well, the precedent's been established. Righties can find their way out to the right field fence. Really good start with the power for Tim Holick last year in the 11 games he started with the Red Sox. Going to try to get on the board with his first home run of the season today. Had 3 in 11 games last year. That one struck out over the head of the second baseman. Right center field. Ranging under it's the right fielder, Zdunich. Cleanly gloved, second out in quick succession. Well, Nick Iannantone will get another chance, another crack at the bat here. Walked in his first appearance today, and we talked about those pole lefties. They're going to like the way the wind's ranging out to right field.
Yeah, like I say, it's a bit of a tough matchup for a lefty on lefty, but he's got the swing to yank one right out of this park.
That one well too far and low. Can't get gloved by DeOlio, 1-0.
So I think Keys will do well to try and keep the ball away from Nick. We'll see how willing Nick is to go the other way and shoot a rope into left field. I know early in the count, at least before he's got 2 strikes, Iannantone is going to want to stay very aggressive.
Here's the 1-0 from Keys.
Having said that, that's now 7 pitches that he's seen. Sorry, 8. That's the 8th pitch he's seen, and he's yet to swing the bat.
Mike Janier, the home plate umpire, called that ball too. That one struck very
That's
well.
Well hit.
Out to right center. Is it another one? Yes, it is. Welcome to Brantford, Nick Iannantone. And it's a home run derby both ways. Very well struck baseball by number 32. And the Brantford Red Sox tie it up the same way the Majors put 2 on the board. 2 solo home runs. First one for Black, second one for Nick Iannantone, his first, and Red Sox gear.
Well, every once in a while we get it right, don't we? And he absolutely ripped that ball. That was gone from the bat. He hit it exactly. I was staring at, I can't hardly read it from here, that I think it's a Terry Summerhays sign out in right center.
That's true.
And that's the one I was looking at, and he hit it right over top of that sign, and that ball was way out of here.
If Terry Summerhays' team and everybody else at RE/MAX wanted good visibility on that sign today, they're getting it with how many balls are clearing it.
Well, Terry, while you're out there, duck, because there's one headed right for you.
Here's A.J. Carosis. That one low of the zone. No 2-1 count, and Keys, who looked well in control through 3 innings, finally starting to be hit here in the 4th. See how he adjusts. Carosis just missed with the barrel there, 2 apiece.
That was another aggressive swing. He wanted to get in on that party, right? So that wasn't the pitch to yank down the line, but I like the aggressiveness.
2-2. That one is chopped. Is fair. Gloved cleanly by the first baseman. And that will retire the side. But the Red Sox starting to pick up a bit of momentum here. They got a pulse. They got a heartbeat. And this game is tied through 4 innings as we set up for the top of the 5th. We're going to take away. We're going to go ahead for a quick 2-minute break. But when we come back, we're going to have a special guest up here in the broadcast booth, courtesy of a certain gentleman from the Brantford Red Sox locker room. We'll be back in just a moment on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires. And welcome back to Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball right here on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube. Wherever you're watching us, London, Brantford, or anywhere in between, we thank you for joining in. Just missed the first pitch. It was fouled off for strike 1. That one went to Jaden Babiuk. Well, joined alongside me in the broadcast booth, we got a special guest, a gentleman I wish was out there on the field right now, but unfortunate situation here on Friday. We're getting him. We're getting his hours in. We're getting him to make some impact here positively up in the booth today. Chris Ortega joins me, third base, first base, former IBL All-Star. Now joining us in the CBL broadcast booth. Chris, welcome. How are we feeling?
Feeling all right, you know. Just got some physiotherapy done over there in the bullpen, so getting better day by day.
That's obviously the elephant in the room. How are we feeling after that scary situation on a fielding play there on Friday?
Feeling better, absolutely. Just taking it one day at a time. You know, just very stiff at the moment, but definitely looking forward to playing next week, hopefully.
Batter calls time. This is Jaden Babiuk facing Aiden Armitage for his second inning of work. Currently tie ball game here, 2 apiece off 2 solo home runs. Always a big talking point. Hard to hit home runs here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Chris, they're flying out of the park today to right field.
Absolutely. I think it has to do a little bit with the heat, you know. Friday's game, a little cold. Now we getting a little sunshine, little heat, and they're flying.
Miami, Florida native and yourself, I'm sure this is much more your climate, much more your speed.
Yeah, absolutely. This feels more of my speed, you know.
Here's the 0-2 to Babiuk. Great drop there on the curve, but outside of the zone, 1-2. I like seeing a little bit of movement there, just giving him something to change the eye level. Good start there today for your starter, Connor Irvin there, racking up strikeouts in quick succession to open the ball game.
Oh, yeah.
That one shot back foul. So how's it feeling in the new season? Is the Canadian Baseball League feeling any different day to day than the Intercounty Baseball League prep used to?
Yeah, it definitely is. We have done a lot to the facilities for all the players, and everything's feeling good.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one well too high. Nicely caught there by Cassidy Watt. 2 now. both ways. So your situation, there was a little bit of talk. Was it an upper leg? Was it a kind of a side injury? How are we feeling? What is it particularly that kind of went wrong there for you on Friday?
So what ended up happening?
That one struck over the head of the second baseman. No play made there by Black. He'll field it cleanly. Runner holds it first. Single there for Jaden Babiuk, his first of the day.
Yeah, so what ended up happening was just I have a little bit of some hip problems from the past, and my lower back on my right side, like SI joint, kind of just gave out and it just stiffened, kind of seized up a little bit, and it felt like I couldn't move per se, and it was tough getting up. But yeah, everything.
Shows bunt, does bunt. That one is sent well foul, catches a weird bounce off the dirt.
Yeah, so, sorry. Everything right now is just getting back to feeling 100% again, you know? Just taking it day by day, doing what the trainer tells me to do, looking to get back out on the field for sure.
So you said this is a rehabilitation issue you've kind of had trouble with in the past. Always scary with the non-contact injuries, right? A little tougher to diagnose. Are you a little more optimistic now with the short-term rehab outlook than you were kind of when it happened on Friday?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, we get in maybe a week before the season, so I am driving from Florida. That could have had something to do with it.
Likely did, yep.
Yeah, sitting in a long period of time in the car, immovable.
Shows bunt again. That one's right down the middle. 0-2 here for Armitage.
Just a lot of factors that can go into that, you know.
It was great to see you get back in time for opening day, though. I think I speak for all of us where, you know, some of the greats from that last year's team. We talked a lot in the preseason about continuity. Of course, Ren, he's off to big and great things with how incredible of a season he had. But you and him last year were just electric X factors. I think you were the name a lot of teams were circling in the batting order when they saw it in the visitors' dugout. And really sad that you're going to have this bit of a stumble to start the season. But you play a really pivotal order in the lineup, and clearly we're starting to see your offensive guys around you. They're going to give you some production. They're starting off quite well today.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, early in the year, pitchers usually prevail. It's good to see some of these swings from some of these impact guys just, you know, letting it fly. Love to see the swings going, and they're making it happen right now.
You got some depth behind you as well. A.J. Carosa is coming over from Kitchener. He played exceptionally in your place on defense and added one of the few hits on the day on Friday as well. Runner going to go. Watt can't glove it clean, and he'll make the safe play to second. Is he going to try third? Thinks better of it. Going to tuck back into second base. Jaden Babiuk going to get the free base on the steal. Yeah, Carosa's doing a good job to come in there for you, and it's going to be an interesting spot in the lineup. They had you down there as fifth in the batting order on Friday. You're behind Nick Iannantone and Tim Holick, two guys with really good power profiles. Is that, do you think, kind of the vision for this year? Get guys on base with the Brody Blacks and Jacob Cantors of the world, and once you guys have a couple men in front of you, swing for the fences, try to put them on the board in big clumps. Yeah,
we're definitely shooting to hit the gaps, you know, more doubles, more runs.
That one struck cleanly. Finds the gap in the infield. The runner coming around from third. He'll get the stop sign. Probably had a very strong chance at home, but they're going to stop where the runner's on the corners. That's Escato on the board today. His first hit after striking out looking. His first two times up. So now Escato and Babiuk on the corners. Here comes Roberto Caro for his third time today. He had a steal back in the third inning after taking the 4-ball walk. Flew out on the warning track there in the first inning. Really the only one of those balls anywhere near the warning track that didn't leave the park was Caro in the first. That one too low. Watt can't find it, but the runner can't go. They're going to hold on the corners, 1-0. So were there any adjustments there for you, Chris, when it came from going from 2025 to 26? You obviously got off to an incredible start there at the beginning of the last season. By the time we had you on Brantford Red Sox Report, you might have been the hottest guy in the league. You go to the All-Star game, you have a great performance, you represent the team, and then cools off a little bit in terms of the overall production. Were there any adjustments, or is that just kind of, you think, a regression to the mean tail end of last year?
So when it comes to the regression, I want to blame that a little bit on the Home Run Derby and participating in that. That is something that has happened to me a couple times now, where I shoot for you have your specific swing and you're trying to do something specific and it's not natural. So you're getting out of your comfort zone to participate in something. And then kind of just struggled after that. I do not believe I will participate in the home run derby this year, given the opportunity. So I'm just looking to focus on the season and focus on getting back to hitting the ball hard.
I'm going to use the term regression to the mean. Certainly not regression. You led the gosh darn league in RBIs. It's not like there was any fall off really whatsoever. I was there in person there today at Bernie Arbor for the All-Star game. I'll tell you in person, folks, it is one of the worst headwinds you've ever seen for a home run derby, especially for a righty like yourself. Those lefty hitters from Hamilton and Welland, they were having a day for themselves. So. It is what it is, but very good chance you get called back this year. So keep that in mind, CBL representatives for the home run derby, because I wouldn't be surprised if you're getting the call once again. So full count now. Armitage facing Corot. Runner goes on first. Tries the hit and run, but the ball fouled off towards third base. Stays alive, but the runner will head back to first base. What was the environment there in the clubhouse like after Friday's game? Obviously, you play the defending champions. Welland looked in great form there on offense, and Ben Abram was just lights out there in the early stages. What do you do to readjust into Sunday? Because it felt like even walking into the ballpark, spirits were right back up to preseason levels already. Kind of that goldfish memory. Take it out of mind, it would seem.
Yeah, we just are taking it one day at a time. That was the first game of the year.
Runner goes again. That one almost hits the batter. This one will score the runner home. Here he comes. Jaden Babiuk, third home score of the day for the London Majors. They take the 3-2 advantage, and the stolen base going to go all the way around to third as Escato went to second. Pitch goes wild, and he advances all the way to third base. So 3-2 now for the Majors. Ball narrowly missed the batter. Would have been a different situation there if the hit by pitch had gone through rather than the wild pitch. Discussion here. Terry Smith going to come check on Armitage. And then, of course, that Welland team a day later in Welland blew out the Guelph Royals. So that defending champion ball club, I know a lot of people said, okay, what's the continuity going to be like for some of these teams at the top with the new professionalized league format? Seems like Welland's getting themselves off to about the same way they starting this year, the way they ended last year.
Absolutely. It's a great ball club they have over there. Something that they did as well is they had a couple exhibition games that could have played into factor of maybe they're a little bit more unionized as a team, compared to us just playing our first on Friday. So we're just going to take it one day at a time, one game at a time. It's still kind of spring training in parentheses, as they would say it for us. Just looking to get hot.
A little more pressure on getting hot early in the season, too. One of the other adjustments now, 5 teams in contention for the playoffs versus the 8 from last season. So the bar, what you're chasing there, kind of moves for this season, doesn't it?
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
No room for a slow start with only 5 ball clubs. That one's wide and too close. Ball 1 here to Trent Lenahan. Remember, he homered back in the first inning, then walked in the third. He's had a productive start to the day for himself. Here's the 1-0. That one up a little bit too high once again. 2-0 now to Lenahan. Lenahan's got himself in the count both times. Was up 3-0. Connor Irvin almost fought his way back in their second plate appearance today for Lenahan. He did eventually walk. Now he's up ahead 2-0 with runners on the corners. Runner goes from first. Hit and run play. Cantor overcommits to get to second, so the ball slides by at his shortstop position. Runner scores 4-2, and they'll advance them back to the corners. Lenahan on the board once again with a single, his second hit of the day. RBI single for Lenahan will make this a 4-2 ball game for London. Remember, they took the lead initially back in the very first 2 innings, went up 2-0 off 2 solo homers. Of course, the Red Sox just a moment ago hit 2 solo homers of themselves. Now the ball game back to a 2-run advantage for the road side. Still no outs in the inning. Here's Eduardo De Olio. That one a little bit too wide there. Still a good break here for for Armitage. It's interesting for you getting the vantage point here, Chris, from up and elevated behind home plate, kind of seeing the way we see the ball game. I'm sure you've seen Armitage pitch a number of times. In bullpens. That one swung and missed on by DeOlio. What do you see any different from Armitage's stuff, seeing him here in this capacity than seeing him on ground level in a bullpen?
Just the way the pitches move, Army throws an array of different pitches that moves a whole bunch of different ways, and seeing it from this top shelf view is pretty interesting.
That one swing and missed on again. Swings over it for DeOlio. Armitage finds himself up 1-2. And he does such a good job. We always talk about it with Brian, not just switching his pitch mix, but switching eye levels. How dangerous is that? How much harder does that make your life as a hitter, as a guy trying to barrel up one of those baseballs?
Yeah, sometimes that could affect you more than someone who throws hard. Just switching eye levels, getting the hitter off balance, definitely does something to you versus someone who throws extremely hard. There's just differences when it comes to being a guy who's crafty in the mound and uses all his pitches to his advantage.
Here's the 1-2. Runner's still on the corners for DeOlio. No outs yet. Runner goes, hit and run again. Runner will score. Another comes around to third. The throw in from Paulos. Another good throw after the great out he recorded ended inning earlier. Unfortunately, not enough time there. Single for DeOlio on the hit and run. Runner comes home. Now 5-2 advantage for the Majors. Another chat here coming. We've seen an arm periodically warming up in the Brantford bullpen, and it will be Armitage's day done. Making his debut appearance of the season in relief for our initial starter, Connor Irvin. Showed good stuff, but a couple well-executed hit and runs there for the London Majors offense. Puts them up 5-2, and once again, runners back on the corners. We'll see who comes in to relieve Armitage. We saw Rapp, Porchelato, Noah Law, and eventually Jorge De La Cruz all on the mound out of the bullpen after Colby Klepper opened up the ball game on Friday. And one thing we've also talked about a lot this season, Chris, is how many different varieties of releases and approaches there are for the Brantford bullpen compared to the starters this year. For example, Friday, Colby Klepper opens the game. Tall body, has that really wide release. Then you go into a guy like Noah Law, Porchelato, and then, of course, the hard-throwing Jorge De La Cruz. Having a lot of variety in the pitchers you see throughout the course of a ball game, does that make it hard offensively to get in your rhythm?
Absolutely. Pitch speeds, arm mixes, it all differentiates. It's all trying to get you off balance off your game, seeing different arm angles from different guys, especially from the left side, from the right side. Everything is just trying to get you off your game.
So Greg Rapp, team pitching coach, as well as a lefty out of the bullpen, going to join this ball game. Again, he pitched on Friday. He'll be the first pitcher to make 2 appearances on the season for the Red Sox. Again, posts great content to his Instagram. I love seeing him kind of do breakdowns of his pitching approach, of his warm-ups in the bullpen, and here he comes. It's going to be him and Cassidy Want. And that's another guy, Cassidy Want, defensive catcher for the team. Having him play pretty much the full season last year. He went away, took a brief excursion off, played some first base, played some right field. But having that continuity for a lot of your pitchers, seeing a guy come back there as your defensive catcher, you got to think that probably helps these new guys working themselves into the Brantford Red Sox rotation, because you're going to see your same defensive catcher pretty much every game.
No, absolutely. Coming into the season as the guy last year and coming back and getting the same relationship with those pitchers definitely means something for these guys. They all have trust with them back there, and I know it just keeps adding up as they spend more time with one another.
Well, here comes Starling Joseph, going to make his 3rd appearance on the day. Struck out swinging back in the second inning, and then did have a single there in the 4th. Has runners on the corner, still no outs in the inning. That's going to be a really pivotal spot here for Rapp. It's not exactly been put in a position to succeed being brought here in this moment, but if he can work his way out of it, it'll be an early season highlight for number 11. First pitch swung and missed on. Joseph swings over it for strike 1. And so many returnees this year, great to see, right, Chris? There was a lot of up and down in terms of personnel, a lot of guys in, a lot of guys out in the first half of the season, and then you go through the second half, of course, have that big 6-game home winning streak. A lot of the same pieces play all the way through. To see most of that nucleus come back, that must give you kind of a nice peace of mind, a nice locker room dynamic, having so many returning faces. That one struck well out towards left field. Gonna one-hop to Ian and Tone, so the runner will come home to make it 6-2, and the runner on first will advance. Starling Joseph's second single of the day, and an RBI for the second consecutive inning. So runners now on first and second. Again, still no outs, and here comes Tucker Zdunich, a guy that, similar to Trent Lenahan, has yet to be anything but productive in an at-bat. Homered in the second, walked in the fourth. Zdunich, a guy I'm curious for you to see from the booth perspective here, Chris. He hit us really well in the park last season. I see a lot in his dynamic, kind of the way you approach the plate, where it's home run level power, but not at the cost of a realistic chance to put the ball in play.
No, yeah, this guy right here is a really great hitter, and it's you see a bunch of power hitters these days, and you kind of just label them as a power hitter, but then there are guys who have the power, who also do not sacrifice a ton of contact to be that home run type hitter. And I feel like us two can be in that subdivision right there where I look like a power hitter from the outside perspective, but in realism, I see myself as a guy who puts the ball hard in play all the time.
So here's Zdunich facing the 1-0 from Greg Rapp after a quick mound visit with his catcher. That one in play goes past Holick. Runners coming around. One will try to score. He'll get the stop sign at third once again. Nice throw by Black. Might have had a chance there at the plate. Bases now loaded off another single by Zdunich. That's the 6th of the inning for the London Majors. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts right now, and Arnold Anderson doing a great job are the Majors just putting the ball in play. Been a bright spot in the early part of the season is Tim Holick coming back to the team, joining from the early stages in 2025. He played some third base and left field here and in the Frontier League, but since he's come back, he's looked pretty solid there defensively at first. That's what you like to see.
Absolutely. You know, he's a guy who's a utility guy, can play every single position, and I'm glad to have him back.
First one in on the low side for strike one. This is Jarrett Burney up for his third time today. Single, then stole a base in the second, but then hit into a double play in the fourth. 0-1, bases loaded. Greg Rapp to deal. That one chopped straight at the third baseman. Lefebvre will throw it to Watt for one. Not in time for the other, but they at least prevent the run scoring at home. Still a 6-2 ball game. Good decision there. You keep the bases loaded. You at least keep yourself in play for a stop to the damage. Next up, Louis Jean. Now, of course, you, Chris, last season, you went to the All-Star game as a first baseman. You played a little bit of first base, a little bit of third. This season on opening day, you start there at third base. That could be a pretty consistent fixture on defense for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I see myself as just a corner guy, you know, whichever I'm called upon. Maybe see a little bit of myself in the outfield as well. We'll see. But, yeah, going forward, I expect just to be a corner guy.
For the young ball players, or maybe just those new to baseball, what is kind of different with the skill set required defensively at third base versus first?
They don't call it the hot corner for no reason. I expect just a ton of scorched balls at third base over first base. First base is a little more, I would say, lax when it comes to that area. But third base is just a lot of hard hit balls, more or less time to think when a ball comes at you, rather than some of these other positions.
So 2-0 the count here. That one popped up over Brody Black's territory out there in right field. He's got a howitzer of an arm. Let's see what he can do to the plate here. He'll throw to third. One hops. Cantor has no play. Home comes Joseph. The advantage now 7-2 for the Majors, but at least they record the out. Nice catch there by Black. So the sac fly there for Jean will score Joseph. Runners will now be on the corners once again. 2 outs at least in the inning, so if Rapp can get himself out of the inning against Babiuk, the offense can come back and try to do some damage like they did in the 4th. Out a little bit off the wide side. Home plate umpire Mike Janier says ball 1. Rapp to Babiuk. Runner goes from first. Watt will try it again. 1 hops. Nice throw in, a little bit wide. Runner is safe. 4th stolen base of the day for the Majors. That was Jean on that swipe. Escato now on deck. Here's the 2-0. That one drops in, pulls the pin on it for 2-1. Nice pitch there. Two, 1 the count. Rapp drops that one in again. Fouled off over our heads. 2 apiece. Two count here. Big spot here for Rapp. A strike would be crucial to strand those runners on 2nd and 3rd. Little bit too wide. Dug out like the pitch. Home plate umpire did not. Full count, 2 outs. Biggest pitch in baseball. Remember, Babiuk singled in the very beginning of this inning. Later, Stoll scored a run. This is the 2nd time he's been up in the top of the 5th. That one put in play. Over the head of Cantor. Fielded by Ian and Tone. 1 runner around. Throw is wide of home. 2 come home to score for the Majors. 9-2 now the advantage for the road side. Off a 2 RBI single from Jaden Babiuk, his 2nd of the inning. Always tough there in the gap, isn't it, as a push hitter to be able to push it in the gap and get that certain launch angle that with that amount of power, any lower it probably goes to Cantor, any higher it probably goes to Ian and Tone. That sweet spot right in the middle, I'd imagine it's pretty satisfying to get that as a hitter.
Absolutely, and it bringing 2 runs in, even better.
So runner now on first. They'll try the pick, just anything to get out of this inning for free. Would be nice there for Rapp. Michael Escato up for his 4th time today. That'll put Roberto Caro back on deck. Here's the pitch. Just barely too high, ball 1. Welland went through the order twice in 1 inning on 2 occasions there on Friday. This will be the first time the London Majors have done it today. 1-0 pitch. That one too low this time. Gonna need to find a spot right there in the middle, 2-0. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Runner goes from first. There'll be no throw. They'll give him the free swipe of 2nd. That is Jaden Babiuk's 2nd stolen base in the inning. You don't see that too often, do you, Chris? You rack up 2 stolen bases in 2 trips in 1 inning.
No, you do not.
That one drops in. Nice curve there, 2 apiece. Once again, he's 1 strike away from finally ending the top of the 5th. We're getting our money's worth out of you here, Chris. We said, we'll bring you in for an inning. We didn't know it would be somehow the 2nd longest of the season. That 7th on Friday went quite a ways. A little bit too wide. Full count once again. There's been a lot of big pitches today on a 3-2 count. The majority of them have gone the way of the London offense. We'll see what Rapp's got up his sleeve here. Big moment for number 11. That one is put in play. Into the gap once again. London just controlling that shallow part of the outfield. Another single here. That one goes the way of Caro. This is, the way of Escato. Caro now up at the plate. This is about everything the Majors could have drawn up here on offense and more. That's a new season. You just want trips to the plate, Chris. You want experience, and the Majors are getting their money's worth in plate appearances today.
Yeah, absolutely. They're just knocking them every which way, and finding themselves on base. That's all you can ask for as an offense.
Runners on the corners again. They try the pick. And in time is Escato. Caro now up. Lenahan back on deck. He's a guy you'd love to end the inning in front of. Lenahan has just been deadly at the plate today. I want to avoid giving him bases loaded in front of him, whatever you can do. That one is in on the bottom side. Strike one. Oh, 1 count. Runner goes. Watt. No throw. Thinks better of it. That'll be another stolen base this time. Michael Escato, his first of the game. I think Watt's just focused on retiring the out the traditional way. Gives him the stolen base just to prevent potential for the ball getting wild. That one right back at the pitcher. Wrapped to field. Finally out of the inning come the Red Sox. The top of the 5th will bring home 7 runs for the London Majors. They extend the lead up to 9-2, and the Red Sox, well, the offense had plenty of opportunity to rest, get their bearings. They're going to need a little bit of firepower to come out of here with some good control. Well, Chris, thank you very much for joining me in the booth alongside me today. Really cool we could have you up here if you're going to take a day off. I hope we don't have the opportunity too many more times. I hope you're out there on the field as soon as you can. Again, on behalf of both myself, Brian, our entire team, we wish you the very best in your rehab recovery.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Chris. We'll be back in just a quick moment after a quick 60-second break right here on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball, presented by Mr. Lube and Tires. And welcome back and good afternoon, baseball fans, to Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball right here on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube, presented by Mr. Lube and Tires. Marshall Crocker joined once again in the booth by Brian Hawley. Thanks again to Chris Ortega, our very own defending 2025 IBL All-Star, for coming up to join us in the booth. Great to talk to him a little bit about his rehab and get a hitter's perspective on what we were seeing in a very busy offensive top of the 5th for the London Majors. The Red Sox, now their turn to respond.
Yeah, Chris, the cooler Ortega, we call him from now on, because it was 2-2 when I left this booth, and then heck, Bruce loose there. It was a rough inning. There were a couple of bleeders, a couple of ground balls with eyes, a lot of what was the number on stolen bases there? They must have stolen 5 bases in that inning all alone,
my count's
right?
4. Certainly felt like 5.
And, well, maybe I was thinking 5 because it was perfect execution of the hit and run. I think it was Linehan who hit the ball right where Jacob Cantor was. Would have been an easy 6-4-3 double play, but because they were running, it turns into a base hit. Dropping one in front of Ian and Tone, dropped one in front of Black. So just some nice hitting and some bad luck.
Cassidy Watt hits that one well.
Uh-oh.
Out to left field. Will it clear? Finally, he's done it, Cassidy Watt. He promised it almost a year ago, but he's finally hit a home run. at Arnold Anderson Stadium, and he clears that gigantic titan of a left field fence. Cassidy Watt puts them on the board. Well, he promised it would be about 8 months earlier, but you know what? We'll take it today. Amazing swing of the bat there. He talked about adjusting, Brian, to his new power-first approach. He swings hard when he connects. Goodbye, baseball.
Well, I tell you what, while I was outside there watching the game while you were talking to Chris, the wind has really picked up, and it is definitely blowing out. But every time, now it seems like every time Keys makes a mistake, the Brantford hitters are absolutely smoking it. So hopefully they can get back into this game. It's still, we're still in the middle of the game.
One chopped foul. This is Lefebvre up for his second time today.
You get one or two more this inning, and then you head into the later innings only down 4, and you just never know in this game, right? That's 3 home runs, and there's some high-leverage guys yet to come out of the Brantford bullpen, keeping them at 9. Never know. Stick around, folks.
That one put in play right at the second baseman, gloved cleanly there by Jarrett Burney. Well, it seems like if you want to catch a souvenir baseball today, you'll want to leave the premises. You'll want to leave the postal code, because when baseballs are getting barreled up, they are getting hit well today. The nice weather might have something to do with it. And like we said, it's a shame that Chris had to play Friday, not today. The Miami, Florida native probably feels much more comfortable in this heat.
Well, not only that, with the wind blowing out like it is, it's certainly an opportunity for him to get in on the action here.
The 0-1 pitch. This is Bateman up. He fouls that one off at the home bullpen. 0-2. Ethan Paulos now on deck. And, well, the way the bats are starting to come alive here for Brantford, a 6-run lead is a lot less substantial than it would feel on some nights. This one very much still in play.
Absolutely. That's important to get that run back. Now Keys did exactly what he should do. Your team just scored you 7 runs.
That one sent foul again.
And so the last thing you want to do is go walking the first guy. You want to throw to contact, pitch strikes, get them swinging the bats. Unfortunately, he hung one there, and Cassidy Watt jumped all over it. And there aren't many that go out in left field. Not many home runs at all that go out left field. I think we only saw 3 or 4 last season.
Now one low in the dirt. Good take there, 1-2.
But, I mean, the one thing we haven't seen yet in a game and a half is that we haven't seen a nice rally. You know, we've got the home runs now. They scored a run in the 9th. They got a couple guys on, but we just haven't seen exactly what London just did. Get guys on, start moving around, send 7 or 8 to the plate in an inning.
That one struck. Out over to center field, ranging up for it. Makes the catch. Had a little bit of movement there for Roberto Caro, but he gloves it cleanly and a nice first switch instinct to record the out. So here comes Ethan Paulos, and well, we've seen plenty of home runs today, but luckily for, I guess, the pitching side, for the defensive side, not many have seen base runners in front. That's what the Red Sox are going to need here, like you say. Not just a rally. You're not just going to do it with power. You need singles. You need walks. You just need base runners for that next big power bat to really do some damage to this lead.
Absolutely. It'd be a good inning to send 6 or 7 to the plate, get a couple back here, and get right back into this game. But like I say, we're still only in the 5th inning.
That one. Home plate umpire is going to give him off the far corner. Paul is not happy with that call.
Well, he's been pretty liberal with that outside pitch for both lefties and righties. He's been pretty consistent there.
So if you're getting a ball off the far side of the lefty hitter and you're going to get a strike call on it, what do you have to do as a lefty? Just extend those arms further?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, early in the count, if there's a pitch that's an inch or two off the plate, if it's a strike, so be it. There's no sense getting that aggressive early on, but when you get to 2 strikes, you're going to have to lean in and just poke it through the hole on the left side.
1-2. Great movement on that pitch. Strike 3 called. Strikeout looking there for Ethan Paulos. Well, in the bottom of the 5th inning, well, it was only 1 run, but it popped the crowd pretty good. Cassidy Watt finally hits a home run at home as a Brantford Red Sox. I've called plenty of games for him. He's had plenty of great hits on the warning track, but finally one leaves the ballpark and at least gets the fans out of their seats and the energy a little ways back in the home direction.
And we got a point up in the booth here. Like he knew exactly what he'd done. So I had a nice long chat again with. I seem to run into Cassie and have a good chat with him every time I'm in the ballpark. And he's a great ball player and a really nice kid too. So.
Cass is a great guy. Great day for the Brantford Red Sox report veterans in general. Of course, Chris Ortega joined the show in Season 1 last year. As we see a new arm warming up in the bullpen there for the
and you just give me a minute here because I just met this. They literally just signed this fella today. Craig is the last name. Like I said, bear with me. We're just checking our. But I watched him throw a bullpen. The dude throws hard. He could be a real good high leverage guy for this team.
Terry Smith can have another chat here with the home plate umpire as we get set up and ready to go on Brantford Red Sox CVL YouTube Baseball, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires. Want to thank our partners one more time. First of all, Mr. Lubin Tires, our presenting sponsor here on the broadcast, getting some great baseball today. And, well, they're right next to that Terry Summerhays sign in right field. They've got some great visibility, too, with all these right field home runs. We thank Mr. Lubin Tires. Also want to thank Popeyes Supplements for their our partnership with them this season, and they're going to be the sponsor of our weekly segment coming up in just a few innings. Brian's Popeyes Player of the Game. We're going to have to start brainstorming and see who might be the contenders for that on the home side. Montana's Barbecue and Bar, we thank them for their support on our show. And finally, the Terry Summerhays team. And like we said, he's got a great banner out there in right field that has had just a couple baseballs clear it today. Just a few, certainly more than we're used to seeing here at Arnold Anderson. I believe the number was, if my memory serves, there were 35 hit here in 2025. That actually sounds high. That might be the team total overall. Whatever it is, I definitely don't think we saw 4 in a game at any point, 5 in a game, pardon me, at any point in 2025.
So it's Heldon Craig, a right-handed pitcher from Victoria, and he went to school at CSU Bakersfield. 6'3", 225 pounds, big kid. Like I say, I had a nice chat with him before the game, watched him throw a bullpen session, and has a big arm here, so we'll see how he does.
A little bit wide of the plate, but my goodness, velocity jumps off the screen. Great, like full extension there with that right arm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they weren't expecting to get him in this early, just because he just showed up today, but hey, why not? I mean, get your first foray into the league under your belt and move forward from there. And they're having a little trouble getting guys out today. They used more pitchers than they wanted to in that 5th inning, obviously. And so get him in and get him a look.
Out a little bit too close in on the hands. Talk about a guy you don't want to see with your first trip to the mound here as a Brantford Red Sox. Trent Lenahan has been red hot today. He's back up 3-0 once again.
Well, yeah, it's a trial by fire here going through the meat of this order with Linehan, DeOlio, and Joseph.
Gets a strike call there on the bottom side. Nice pitch, and again, very late that ball comes out of his hand. Extends very far off the mound. That one is struck foul, so full count. Big chance here for Craig to become the first pitcher to retire Lenahan at all today.
Interesting, too, that he stands right over to the third base side of the rubber. So when you've got a right-hander like Linehan who likes to get up close to the plate, it must feel like he's throwing it in right from your left shoulder.
3-2. That one put in play. Hit straight to the second baseman. Fielded cleanly by Carosis. First out of the day for Trent Lenahan. What a start here for him. But finally, Lenahan will take the walk back to the visitors' dugout.
Well, that was a good pitch, too. Threw it low and outside. Got it at the knees, right on the outside part of the plate. And all he could do was just slap it to the right side, right to Carosis.
Well, here comes Eduardo DeOlio.
Now, here's a guy who is not afraid of big velo, that's for sure. So you're going to need to include some spin if you want to get this fella out. Just like that.
Nice pitch there by Craig. Like what I'm seeing there, and like what I'm seeing with that break away from the batter. It's going to be interesting to watch here against the righties.
Well, like I say, I mean, you'll sometimes see a lefty stand over on the first base side of the rubber. You don't often see a righty go right over to the third base side. So when he throws that, oh boy.
Oh, keep an eye there. Cassidy Watt might have caught him in the off-glove hand.
Oh, he just turned at the last second there, which is cardinal sin for you catchers. You young catchers at home there, stay square to the baseball. That's where all your padding is.
Watt down to some discomfort. Here comes a couple faces. Terry Smith going to come over from Brantford's side. Trainer getting called out here from the Majors dugout. Watt down in some discomfort after Key took a ball off the hand earlier today. Back to his knees. He's got the mask off. Connor Irvin just grabbed him some water after he came out as today's starter after 3 innings. He's back to his feet as Cassidy Watt, and nobody coming in to relieve him. Looks like he will stay in the ball game. Andrew Savage is his replacement defensive catcher. But Watt is going to stay in it. He's a tough cookie.
He's a tough cookie, that's for sure. Absolutely. You have to be if you're going to be a catcher, especially in this league when velo gets up into the 90s.
Well, that was a free moment for both Eduardo De Olio, the batter, and Craig, the pitcher, to compose themselves. See what Hayden Craig's got here. 1-1, 1 out. That one misses again. Bounces back into the backstop. 2-1. Jacob again to come grab that one.
That is a really hard slider that he throws, man. That's got to be mid-80s that he's throwing that slider at. That is a vicious pitch. If he throws that consistently for strikes, he's going to have a lot of success at this league.
2-1. That one fouled off. Luckily, only one truck left there after all the junior games out there today. Great look there by our first base cameraman.
Well, that was a really, Marshall, that was a really good fastball, and you know it's a really good fastball if you're getting one past Edward De Olio.
2-2. That one popped well up and over our heads. He's putting great velocity on it, having a hard time catching up as De Olio.
If he could throw that slider for a strike, I believe he's going to get an out right here.
These guys with great velo and great stuff, even if they're kind of a wild horse with control, you know once they find the zone, it is so hard to catch up to a ball coming at you that quick.
It sure is.
2-2 here from Craig. A little bit too low and away. 3-2 full count. Big pitch here against De Olio. What do you want to see here if you're on the mound?
Well, a strike. I don't care what he throws. If whatever he knows he's going to throw for a strike, it's just no more free passes, no more free base runners. You're down 6. You got to go right at these guys.
That one is put in play and will get past the second baseman. Carosis didn't quite have a chance on it. Paulos gets it back in. Single for Eduardo De Olio, his second in back-to-back innings.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, at the end of the day, he had 3-2 pitch. He threw it for a strike. He didn't throw it down the middle of the plate. Just a nice piece of hitting by De Olio. He really didn't hit it real hard. He just hit it in the right spot to get it through up the middle.
Wasn't able to make the play on defense, but once again, Carosis, really good first twitch there on second base. He's showing good instincts at the 4 spot.
True. Having said that, when you're seeing the fastball getting sprayed out into foul territory on first base,
right,
your instinct as a second baseman is to kind of edge toward first, and he ended up hitting the ball back up the middle.
So here's Sterling Joseph. First ball in just too low. This is home plate umpire Mike Janier, 1-0.
So fortunately, London has had a great amount of success running, stealing bases, and De Olio is not that guy. Not a base stealer. He runs well for a catcher, which is kind of a backhanded compliment.
Zdunich now on deck. That one's up too high this time, 2-0. Joseph's had a couple nearly catch him up high.
Yeah, this is the no messing around velo department here. He's throwing real hard, and when you get one up in your kitchen like that, it straightens you right up.
Joseph's had a single in back-to-back innings. This could be 3 straight. That one just too high. They try the back pick, but no luck on De Olio. Not a huge lead, but they did almost snag him at first.
Good idea. You know, you like to try and poach it out there, help your pitchers out. I was talking to the guys about that beforehand. They're going to try and help their pitching staff out, specifically Cassidy and Tim at first base. They're going to try and help their pitching staff out, try and poach a couple outs during the course of a game.
So still 1-1 to Starling. Kicks and deals. Just barely too wide. Tried to frame it, did what? No call, says the home plate umpire. 2-1.
Home plate umpire can hearing it a little bit from the Brantford bench. They wanted to call there. He heard it a bit last inning, too. There was a 2-2 pitch that was really close that he didn't ring the batter up, and he hit a single on the next pitch.
That one very well placed and had some heat on it. Swings through it, Joseph, 2-2. Finally, some cloud cover incoming. We're starting to see more shaping up over our heads from behind us.
Yeah, there's a few people sitting out in front of us are pretty happy about that cloud cover. It's a pretty hot sun out here, folks, and now it's coming right into our booth. Okay, we got two strikes on this hitter. Same spot, hard fastball just over the belt. I'd love to see that.
That one swung and missed on by Joseph. Swinging strike 3 there for Hayden Craig. He's got a heck of an arm on him. Second K of the day for Joseph. A pair of singles, a pair of strikeouts his day thus far. And well, Craig's got himself in a good position. 2 outs for 1 runner on first. High cloud still over our heads. Here's Tucker Zunich up once again.
Tell you what, you're doing well getting fastballs past guys like DeOlio and Starling Joseph, man. I mean, you get the impression Hayden Craig could sneak a steak past a hungry dog.
Yeah, Heldon's starting to find that top of the zone much more effectively now. If you can stay there, it's going to be tough for Zdunic. 0-1. That one sent foul. Off to the first base coach. He'll glove that cleanly. 0-2.
To be honest with you, I normally I like to see a guy set up to throw something here, but he can go either way. He can go fastball just above the belt, or if he can throw that slider for a strike to ball, he'll swing over top of that. Cassidy will block it, and he'll be out.
Could be 1 pitch away from the end of the half inning. That one is sent up. Should be playable. Tracking under, it's Cantor. Gloves it cleanly with both hands. Nice play there on defense once again by number 9. Cantor's looked exceptional out there on defense, and a call off the third baseman there. That shows trust that your infield knows he's the guy.
That's the thing, right? The shortstop is the quarterback of the infield, and if you've got a ball, the other thing too is that the third baseman is running directly back. That's the toughest catch in baseball, to get a catch when you're running straight back over your head. So the shortstop is coming from the side. It's just a much easier play. The easiest play of all, of course, is if the outfielder can call off the infielder because he's running in toward the ball.
So we'll come back up to the top of the order here for the Brantford Red Sox. Bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Black, Cantor, and Holick. And Black started off the home run party in the 4th inning last time he was up. Show that he's got a little bit of home run power there in that bat, which we saw last season. 5 home runs in 2025 through 40 games for Brody Black. Was one of his 25 RBIs. Pardon me, 21 RBIs, 25 runs overall, 42 hits. The Stouffville, Ontario native was very effective. Good to see him bounce back this season and get on the board after what was a slow start for a couple of the Brantford hitters Friday.
We got a new pitcher in for London. It's Kay Douglas. A native of Trinidad, Colorado, an American kid. Tall, lanky right-hander.
Yeah, the 24-year-old will get himself warmed up there on the mound. What a day there for Travis Keys. Really effective ball game, I would say, all the way through. Kind of similar to what we saw from Connor Irvin there in his start today. You didn't make too many mistakes, but when a ball was hittable, it got launched pretty deep.
Yeah, this is kind of like life at Jack Couch or the pits in Toronto, where every mistake ends up over top of the fence. But, that 5th inning notwithstanding.
It's kind of what Kitchener saw there the other night. They played Hamilton. Evan Elliott, I think, allowed a A couple runs early on, but he pitched very well there in Hamilton. We'll see what Kitchener does today. Today, their home opener there at Jack Couch Park. The Red Sox play the bulk of our games against Kitchener later in the season. Same with the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're not going to see Toronto until, I believe, might be the last week of July. They're going to come those games all in bunches, at the end of the schedule. For now, here is Brody Black getting set to go here at the bottom of the 6th inning. A 6-run advantage right now for the London Majors. 9-3 is the gap for the home side. We'll see if Black can start to close that down against Douglas.
Well, I think this was a wise move by manager Roop Chanderdat. Keys that did pitch okay, but every time he made a mistake, like you said, they hammered it. So just in case, good to bring a reliever in at the start of an inning as opposed to waiting to see if Keys was going to get into trouble in this inning with the top of the order up third time around.
Oh, that one narrowly misses the batter.
Well, the one thing I was watching Douglas warm up, and he did throw 3 or 4 pitches into the dirt. So at 9-3, you really have to try and work the count, make him throw strikes. I'm not sure you go all the way to taking a strike, but at least you want to make sure that if you're going to swing early on in the count, it's exactly what your pitch is.
Very close pitch on the wide side. Home plate umpire Mike Kinnear is going to give it to him. 2-1 now the count. Douglas to Brody Black. Oh, big swing, big miss, 2-2.
Nice breaking pitch there.
Got to treat Black as a threat here, even with only 2 balls. He's proven the baseball can leave the park off his barrel at any time. Here's the 2-2. That one struck very well. Into the gap in the left center. It'll get down. Brody Black on the board once again. Rolls to the center fielder. Can't quite get it clean in the glove, so a little bit of a late throw, and he is well safe. Stand-up double for Brody Black.
And a ringing double at that. That's 2 really solid contact in a row for him, and good for him. That was a bit of a hanger. I think he tried to get that slider down below the knees that he got him to swing over top of on the 2-1 pitch. But he started the ball up too high, and it ended up dropping right in the basket for Brody Black, and he got a mistake, and he did not miss it. That's exactly the kind of start that you want if you want to get back into a 6-run ball game. You need that leadoff runner on, especially in scoring position, where he's not in a forced position. So at the end of the day, like I said, it's station to station now. And hopefully Jacob Cantor can also get himself on base ahead of Tim Holik, who is overdue, I think it's easy to say, for making some noise.
No doubt about it. Douglas puts that first one off speed right down the middle for strike 1. Cantor here for his 3rd time today. Good velo on that one.
Oh, really good take there.
Took a hard bounce there. It's going to be one apiece.
That is a nice breaking pitch that he's got. He struggles to throw it for a strike, obviously, but then sometimes he's trying to do that strike to ball breaking pitch. When he gets that in the right spot, it's really tough to lay off, so good job by Cantor.
Here's Douglas. That one in the dirt. Runner thought about going. He very well would have been out there at third. DeOlio did a great job getting underneath that one.
Well, DeOlio is not the most mobile of quarterback, but he's got a rocket for an arm. Yeah, I don't read too much into that. He's still very good at blocking the baseball, but he's a big guy and doesn't move around like a wiry catcher, but his arm is an absolute rocket.
Cade Douglas here, Colorado's own. 2-1, runner on second for Cantor. That one shot foul. 2-2.
They seem to primarily be pitching him inside, which is, you know, if Jacob could find something on the outside half of the plate, there's a big hole on the right-hand side with the second baseman trying to keep the runner close, which I'm a little surprised about in a 6-run lead that they're working that hard to keep the runner close.
Here's the 2-2. Douglas, he's got eyes on Black. That one was
another really good take by Cantor.
Just a tad too wide. I couldn't believe Cantor didn't go around on that, and this is huge. Full count. If Cantor can get on base for the strong swing at Tim Holik, Brantford might be right back in this ball game. Huge full count pitch here. Here's Douglas. That one put into play out to right field. Ranging back is Dunich. He can't get there. Comes down fair. Runner comes around. Here's Black to score from second. Stand up double. In he comes. Close at the plate, but he's safe. Comes down awkwardly on his knee. I hope Brody Black's all right, but he scores the 4th run of the day.
That was an awkward slide.
He's laughing it off on the way into the dugout. Jacob Cantor. I was just about to say, well, is Brian's Popeyes player of the game a gift or a curse? Started out with 2 groundouts. He is back with an RBI double.
Well, I tell you what, he got that outside pitch and he went where it was pitched and he got it to get down before the right fielder got over there. Nice play by Zdunich to hold him to a double, because that's exactly the part of the ballpark where quite often we see players get a triple. So a nice job by Zdunich to get the ball back in. They actually had a shot. Black obviously was waiting to see if that ball was going to be caught. He had to wait, but at the end of the day, who's not a prototypical leadoff hitter, Brody Black. He's a very good hitter. He's just not a speedster like a stereotype of a leadoff hitter would be. Having said that, he still got around from second base and scored the run. So now you're down to a 5-run game. You still just have nobody out, runner in scoring position. It's obviously critical that that run gets brought in. And, like I said, if they can add 1 or 2 more here, you are right back in this ball game, and they are right where they want to be with the meat of the order up.
Well, here's a guy waiting for his welcome back to Brantford moment. Tim Holick up at the plate with a runner in scoring position. First one in, not in the zone, says the home plate umpire. 1-0.
It just strikes me that when he gets that good slider off, it's really deep, but every once in a while he doesn't get on top of it, and it just kind of spins sideways, and that's going to be trouble for him if he hangs one to this guy.
Big swing.
That's what I'm talking about right there, where he got some good depth to that slider. The one before was flat, but this one had some depth. And so that's the difference between a good pitch and a mistake pitch.
Remember, Cantor on second. Here's the 1-1. A big swing again there by Holick, just missing the barrel on a couple of these. 1-2.
So now you have to turn it around a little bit. You got to be defensive here. You got to make sure you put the ball in play. Down by 5, runner on second, nobody out. You have to have, at the very worst, a productive out. Move that runner up to third base so the guy on deck can drive him in.
That one in the dirt. Evens it up 2-2. Holick tells Cantor to hold up there at second.
Especially when you got Nick Einentone up, who has already hit a home run today off a left-handed pitcher. Now you got a righty up there with that wind still blowing out, and you got a very dangerous hitter on deck. So it's key for Holick to put the ball in play.
2-2. That one's wide, but Holick swings through on it. Strike 3. First K of the day for Douglas.
Well, that's unfortunate. That ball sailed fairly wide out of the zone and just got a little too aggressive trying to foul it off and was not able to. So it's going to be up to Einentone to get this runner in and get it to a 4-run game.
New arm warming up in the bullpen for the majors. 9-4 they lead, but Einentone now at the plate. One catches the low part of the plate. Strike 1. Einentone's now got Corrosis on deck behind him. That one struck well, just put foul. Hooked a little bit too hard right. 0-2. Remember, Einentone did hit that second homer of the day for the Red Sox back in the 4th inning. Also walked in the second. Finds himself down 0-2 here. That one struck very well. You could hear the grimace when it came off the bat, but the center fielder comfortably under it, makes the catch. And the runner will hold up there at second. Well hit ball there by Einentone, just couldn't quite find its way out.
Yeah, just got it off the hands a little bit and really didn't put a real sting into it. So now they need A.J. Corrosis to clutch up here. They must score this run. It's very important, this run, especially having a guy in second base with nobody out, and they haven't been able to move him the last 2 hitters. that was, and I'm not going to beat up Holik about it, but at the end of the day, that's why it's important to move that runner along and have that productive out. You just got a fly ball from Allen and Tone. That easily scores a runner from third base. So if Holik was able on that outside pitch just to doink it over toward first base, he grounds out easy, but he moves the runner up, and on the fly ball they score, and now it's 9-5.
First pitch wide there for Douglas for ball one. And yeah.
Tim's a player who's been up to the Pioneer League, and he knows that. And like I say, it looked to me like he was just trying to foul that pitch off and try and stay alive, but he was unable to make contact.
Here's the 1-0. Carosis swings through it and misses. 1-1.
That's why it's important to remember it is easy for us up here to tell them what they're supposed to do, but baseball is hard.
Give me 8 hours against Aiden Armitage. I don't think I put a ball in play once. Here's the 1-1. That one does catch the bottom again. Douglas getting back in his rhythm. 1-2. Strike away from getting out of the inning. Big pitch here for A.J. Carosis. Swung and missed on. Douglas gets them out of the inning. It was a strong start there for the Brantford Red Sox offense. A pair of doubles from Black and Cancer, but unfortunately the momentum cut short there. 9-4 will remain the advantage for the London Majors as we head into the 7th inning. We'll take a 90-second break and be back here in just a couple moments on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball, presented by Mr. Lube and Tires. And welcoming you back to Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball here on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube, presented by Mr. Lube and Tires. We're into the top of the 7th inning as the London Majors, visiting here at Arnold Anderson Stadium, lead the Red Sox 9-4 off what was a very busy inning of plenty of singles, a little bit of everything, but responded to by a couple of Red Sox big power hits. First a home run, then a pair of doubles to open up their half of the 6th inning. First pitch in the zone here from our new pitcher, Craig, making his debut here today. Facing off against Jarrett Burney. Burney's 4th time up at the plate.
Yeah, Hilton Craig had looked really good. He's got some nasty stuff. He throws hard. He's got a nice breaking pitch, really hard to throw slider.
Another nice pitch on the bottom part. He's found that bottom part of the zone quite well.
He's going to be a real good high leverage piece for this team moving forward. Especially when all the rest of the guys get here. They got 2 more import pitchers coming in Mejia and Arias. And suddenly, with the addition of Craig, the bullpen looks like it's going to start getting loaded up. When those guys get in, Klepper probably transitions out to the bullpen, who gave them 3 innings against Welland without a run. So you get your starter, and then you get Klemper, then you get Craig, then you get Mejia, then you get De La Cruz, and suddenly things are starting to piece together. So, and at the end of the day, that's what we need to focus on, because, we got 12 runs by Welland in Friday night's game and 9 runs scored in 5 innings in this game. So that's a tough tough job for the offense to keep up with that.
The 1-2. Just barely too far.
And again, Connor Irvin's going to be better as he moves forward, as he gets stretched out into his regular thing. Jose Arias, when he gets here, is going to be good too. They're talking about maybe using Mejia in more of a longer role.
That one put in play there by Bernie. Fielded by Lefebvre. What a dive. What a throw.
What
Gets
a
him in time. Unbelievable play by Lucas Lefebvre at the hot corner. What a throw.
That's a pretty play right there. We've seen some really nice defense today. We've seen the diving catch by Paulus early on in the first inning. And now a diving stab there. We saw the diving stab by Carosis on Friday night. And so, yeah, this is pro-level defense going on here in Brantford, man.
I thought Jared Burney would like that one out. Looked like he'd oh, boy.
That was a really strong throw. I agree with you. Yeah, I wondered if Lefebvre was going to be able to get up and get the ball over there in time. There's a fastball outside to go 1-0 to the batter as Marshall deals with a little maintenance. He'll be right back. So,
Meeting expired trail mix. It tried to get back one on me. 1-0. That ball popped over our heads. It got me in the middle of one of the great lines of all time. I was going to say Jarrett Burney. He looked alive, but the throw had him dead. It was kind of like a Weekend at Bernie's situation, but they cut me off in my prime.
Don't you hate when the trail mix gets in the way of a good line?
It's the hardest adversity we have to deal with up here in the booth.
I tell you, that's a true baseball situation where you go on the DL because of trail mix. Like the guys back in the day, they go on the DL for blister on their finger from eating sunflower seeds.
That's right. 1-1 to Louis Jean here.
Yeah, watch your packaging, folks.
Didn't even know trail mix expired. It's been almost a full year. 2-1 the count here for Louis Jean. Babiuk up behind him.
Well, you got to go right at the bottom of this order and get your guys back up to the plate.
That one sent over our heads once again. 2-2 here. Just can't quite keep up with the power Craig's got in that arm.
Yeah, nobody's really squared him up at this point, have they? And that's like I say, you're talking about some real good hitters. You're talking about Linehan and DeOlio and Joseph, and they have all been having trouble handling this high velo that Heldon Craig is bringing to the plate.
Here's the 2-2 from Craig. Looking for his second K of the day. Doesn't get it. Thought that one crept back down into the top of the zone.
Well, it was interesting. I thought I heard two noises there. That was.
So full count. Cloud cover back over our heads here at Arnold Anderson. Nobody on base. 1 out in the inning.
Just got to go right at him here. Number 8 hitter. Louis Jean is not a big power hitter. He's a good player, but go right at him here.
That one is put in play and does go by the infield. Another single on the day for the London Majors. This time it's Louis Jean, his first hit of the day.
Yeah, you know what? Again, it's the same kind of a scenario as it was earlier with DeOlio. You don't want to walk him, and you just got to go right at him. And if he happens to bang one through a hole in the infield, you'll have to live with that.
So Jaden Babiuk's back up again. He's singled twice in the 5th inning. Also stole 2 bags in the 5th inning.
Be interesting to see how long they let Craig throw. They weren't really anticipating him throwing today because he literally just rolled into town this morning. So, just be interesting to see how many pitches they're going to let him throw.
Thinking about rest, it's going to be 6 full days off now for the Red Sox before they play in Guelph on Saturday. So you've got some leeway.
And we understand they are very, very hopeful that a couple of the imports that have been held up with paperwork snafus are on their way and should be here this week too. We don't want to be too committed to it. We hope that it's going to happen, but sometimes when you're dealing with bureaucracy, it's difficult to measure time, really. So, but. Like I say, the pieces are all here, and there's more on the way. This Brantford team is starting to shape up nicely, even if the record is not looking good right away.
First pitch is a little bit high. Yeah, when you're dealing with federal paperwork, you're dealing with centuries, not with days.
Yeah, and there's been some stuff where they, the targets changed on dotting all the I's and crossing T's and what have you. So the team's a little bit frustrated. They'd hoped they'd have it done by now, but like I said, hopefully they'll be in this week, at least a couple of them.
There's the 1-0. Runner goes, does put in play another successful hit and run, potentially for the majors. Black gets under it. Nice play by the right fielder to track that one down. Great first twitch instinct we've seen on a couple well-hit balls today.
Absolutely, yeah. Nice play there. And I tell you what, we've seen really aggressive. This is as aggressive as I've seen a Roop Chanderdat team play. They were a lot more station to station last year. He certainly took his winter and said, I'm going to go out and get some more athletes so that we can play a little bit more aggressive brand of baseball. And it's been impressive. I mean, like I said, it wasn't all just gorks and dying quails out there. It was hit and run. There was a lot of motion, a lot of stolen bases.
Ball put foul, just barely missed third base. This is Michael Escato up for his 5th time today.
Yeah, that just kind of pointed out something I had just looked at pre-pitch, that Lucas Lefebvre was playing really up the middle for a right-handed hitter. Having said that, with Craig throwing so hard, you're not really anticipating anybody yanking one down the line, but off-speed pitch.
They try the pick at first. No dice. So that's Jean still on first. Scotto up here in the batter's box. It's going to be Caro on deck for his 5th appearance.
Well, you've got 2 out here. Just keep aggressive at the hitters. You've got the stuff. Trust your stuff. Get him to put the ball in play.
Now, just misses wide. So 1-1 now the count. Runner on first. Here's the pitch. Swung and missed on. Again, nice velo up high.
Yeah, great spot there. Too high to hit, too low to lay off of. So now we have noticed that Escato has had difficulty handling the inside breaking ball. They've gotten him twice looking on that inside pitch.
See what Craig does here in a 1-2 spot. Runner goes, pitch too high. Watt tries it.
Oh, he's got him.
He got him on that one. There you go. Cassidy Watt gets on the board today with a beautiful throw to swipe the runner. That was Jean caught out at second. So we'll get another chance for Escato to make an appearance in the 8th inning. But the Brantford Red Sox offense that, again, has been picking up a little bit of steam right as the defense finds its footing. They got a chance. 3 attempts to make up 5 runs. It's been done plenty of times, even in this park, Brian.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a darn shame they couldn't get that runner in from second with nobody out and get it to 4 so that at least you could tie it up with 1 swing. We'll see how long Douglas threw a lot of pitches there in that 6th inning, so we'll see how long Roop is prepared to go with this young man. They have a right-handed pitcher throwing in the bullpen, and if you bear with me, I could probably find out who that is. It's Caleb Casey. Delta BC made him.
So a new arm.
Or is it 50,
Is indeed
45?
warming up.
45, yeah. Caleb Casey.
So Douglas had an interesting mix there in that inning of work. Of course, the 2 strikeouts. Ian Antone flies out to center. But those 2 doubles up high, they were hit quite well there by the 2 talented outfielders of Black and Cancer. So what do you do as a reliever? You get a little bit of time off. You get a time away. You know when you were throwing stuff that was hittable, it was very hittable. It was going out. It was big doubles out to center field. But when you were able to get your strikeout stuff to work, you were getting Ks. It's a weird mix. What do you do with your approach when you're getting strikeouts when they're missing bats and you're getting hit hard when they're hitting bats? How do you find a nice middle ground?
Well, at the end of the day, it's all about, as I mentioned earlier, pitching is just like business. The 3 most important things are location, location, location. And so I watched him in the warm-up before the last inning, and he put 3 balls to the backstop, and so he was struggling with his release point. And so struggling with your release point doesn't necessarily mean throwing one to the backstop. Sometimes struggling with your release point means throwing one down the middle. And that was definitely the case with Black. He grooved one to Black, and he ripped it to the wall. It wasn't a terrible pitch to Cantor. I thought it was a really good job of hitting the ball where it's pitched. It was an outside pitch up at the belt, and all he did was just slap it down the line and got it down and ended up getting his own double. But then he started to dot the I's and get some good location later on in the half inning. And, such as that pitch there where you can start off a guy with an off-speed strike one. That's what we call the get-ahead curveball. It's a very popular pitch. Not many guys are standing up saying, if he starts me off with a slow curveball, I'm going to rip him.
That one low in the dirt after a nice strike one pitch down the middle.
Especially for a guy who's got pretty good velo, and Douglas does throw it hard. He's got a good mix of pitches. It's just a matter of location. You got to get the pitches and execute where your catcher tells you to throw the pitch.
Here's the 1-1. That ball wide. 2-1 now. Cassidy Watt, one at bat clear of giving a souvenir to the left field backyard there. Finally making good on a promise from Red Sox Report last season. Hitting his first homer at home since I started calling games. That ball low and too tight. 3-1 now. Batters count for Cassidy Watt. Could be dangerous with the power he showed an inning ago.
Yeah, good take there. You got to believe he's sitting dead red fastball, and we'll see if Douglas throws him a breaking pitch to cross him up.
Too high. Ball 4 for Cassidy Watt. His first walk on the new season.
That's something that drives the manager nuts when you're up 5 runs in the 7th inning and you walk that leadoff hitter. I'm sure Roop is standing over there going, I don't care if you throw it right down the middle, make him hit it. And so that's a 5-pitch walk. And so now you've got
Lefebvre coming
Lucas
up.
Lefebvre coming up after making that sparkling defensive play in the top of the inning. We'll see if he can follow that up with a hit here. Again, with the one thing we haven't seen out of this team in two games is, a 5 or 6 hit rally to put up a crooked number.
Lefebvre still looking for his first hit on the new season. That one too close on the hands, 1-0.
You're at a point right now where 5 of the 6 pitches that he has thrown have been balls, and so you have to be very patient here. I would not, if I'm the manager, I would not like to see Lucas swinging at this pitch regardless of where it is.
Here's the 1-0. Right down the center, evens back up again at 1 apiece.
Well, I thought that one might have been a little bit up too, and I think Lucas did as well, and so he took it. So fair enough, we move on, and I still think it's fastball. You got to sit fastball here. He doesn't want to walk anybody else. He wants to get ahead in the count, and I think he'll come with a fastball.
That one is put into foul ground, tracking under its one hand. Doesn't get there in time. Did his best to leg it out. No play.
Tough play there for Linehan.
So 1-2 now the count here to Lefebvre. No outs in the inning. Cassidy Watt, the catcher, walked a moment ago.
So now you got to protect yourself. You got 2 strikes. He's been throwing nothing but heat the last little while here. You really have to anticipate most likely a curveball. That's hard slider. We'll see if he can throw it for a strike.
Here's Douglas. Swung and
I think
missed on that baseball.
that not bounce in the dirt.
I thought it did, but apparently we are next up. Lefebvre is retired there on a strikeout swinging.
Clearly it was the catcher's mitt.
Was it pronounced sound? I thought maybe you tried to swing at it on the bounce, but
Well, we
clearly
saw a cloud of dust there, but clearly it was, I guess it was the catcher's mitt that made the dust. So
here's Lucas Bateman. That one too high there for ball 1. Bateman 1 for 3 on Friday. 1 for 5 overall in the new season. Today's designated hitter has Paulos behind him. That one out too low. They appeal to first, no swing. 2-0, that one put in play. Over to the shortstop. Over the head at second base. He'll be safe off the air. Another runner will advance all the way to third. Runners now on the corners as Bateman catches a break there to bring up Paulos.
Well, what a huge break for the Red Sox. I'm not sure they were ever getting two there, especially the way Bateman came storming out of the box. But you got a 5-run lead in the 7th inning. You got a ground ball. Just field it and throw it to second and get that first out. But Escado tried to get rid of it quickly and do the quick turn to try and turn two, and it ended up costing them. So you, instead of 2 out with a runner on first, you got first and third and only 1 out.
Paulos will bunt.
Oh.
Pitcher fields it. They should get him, although a bit of a stumble. In a rundown now is the catcher, Watt. Try to go all the way to first. They do get the clean tag on him. So runners now at first and second, and that's one that bunt just unfortunately placed. Watt didn't really have a shot.
Well, I can only assume that Paulus was bunting for a hit there. In fairness, if he gets it down third base line, it probably is pretty effective. But, down 5, that's the only thing I could see is that you're bunting for a hit there. But it was a pretty risky move, and obviously it didn't work out.
Well, for the first time this season, a Brantford Red Sox hitter will come up for the second straight inning. This time it's Brody Black, who's had a heck of a day today. Homered in the 4th, doubled in the 6th.
Yeah, well, hopefully he's got one more hit left in him, driving a couple of runs here and get them to 3. Because the one thing you have to remember about playing London is Skylar Janice is down in that bullpen, who led the IBL in saves last year. So, I mean, you got to get in and get close because it's going to be really tough to tie this game once it gets to the 9th inning.
Yeah, he celebrated by shooting off the arrow here a couple times at Arnold Anderson Stadium last year. Here's the 0-1. Swung and missed pass. 0-2.
That was a really good slider there. Like I say, he does have a good slider, is that sometimes he doesn't get on top of it and it spins sideways, and that's where he gets in trouble. When he gets in top, it's a nasty pitch.
Douglas has really found his rhythm again. What's he got? 0-2. 0-1 low in the dirt again. 1-2. Remember Bateman and Paulos, the two men on first and second. Should he be needed, Cantor's up in the on-deck circle.
Right man, right spot here. You got a hot hitter up with 2 runners on. Let's see if he can capitalize.
1-2, 2 outs. That one in the dirt again.
Oh, what a great block there, man. That ball bounced well in front of the plate.
The veteran catcher Deolio played that one well. Like you said, not prototypical mobility as an athlete at catcher, but man, he's got that great instinct. He knows exactly where to go with the baseball when it gets out of control.
He traps it. You'll notice not only is he showing good mechanics to get in front of the ball, but he is on an angle. His chest is on an angle where when it hits him, the ball just bounces directly in front of him, doesn't go anywhere.
Cloud cover's gone. Sun's back out here at Arnold Anderson. 2-2 and the batter calls time.
So now you've got 2 pitches in a row in the dirt that he's having trouble with the breaking ball. So I would think that Brody is sitting fastball here. You would have to think. I don't think he wants to get to 3-2 because then you get the runner started.
2-2. Swung and missed on by Brody Black. Chat here with the home plate umpire. He's telling off the London dugout a little bit there. Going back and forth with a couple guys. That will end the inning, and bit of a moment there. Black saying no qualms, bit of a chat, but the inning turns over regardless. Nice, really nice comeback there by Douglas. Found himself in a scary situation with the second straight inning, but he's doing a good job throwing the right pitches when he needs to.
Well, it's good location right there, that's for sure. And he got that fastball. He throws the ball hard. He got the ball just above the belt and got himself a strikeout. That's another one I was talking about earlier where it was too high to hit and too low to take. So now we go from hard to harder where we get Heldon Craig comes out and throws low 90s, and now you got a guy who's going to come in and throw low to mid 90s. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. Something fired up Diolio at the end of that with Black, and there was some chirping going on between the benches. Nothing really off the charts here. It's just there just seemed to be a bit of fire going on over there is all.
Well, here we go. Jorge De La Cruz up for his second appearance of the season, and you got to think he's probably going to be asked to just go the distance. They'll probably have him double up 8 into 9 the way he pitched so well on Friday. Had a trio of strikes to end the ball game. It was already out of reasonable control there for the Red Sox, but he did a great job capping it off, preventing any further damage. And you talk about it, this guy can throw in the 90s pretty consistently, and of these guys on the Brantford Red Sox staff that have such great velocity, he's probably the guy with the most control of that velocity.
Yeah, I would think so, and I agree. And not only has he got that velo, he's got that nasty splitter too.
So here's Escato.
Yeah, he'll come back up after the caught stealing, and so the good news for him is that the 2 strikes that he had on him in the 7th inning are gone, and he gets to start from a fresh count.
I think more than in any other pitcher in this Red Sox roster, I think when you see Jorge De La Cruz go to the mound as an offensive player coming up next inning, you feel more confident than almost anybody. You might get it back with this exact same score when you come back on offense.
Absolutely, and so, they've done a good job here. I mean, that was a 7-run, take away the 7-run 5th inning, and this is a 4-2 ball game for Brantford.
First pitch has some good break on it. A little bit behind it there is Escato.
Low to mid-90s fastball, plus he's got a really hard slider, and he's got that exploding splitter. He's got these big hands with long fingers where he almost makes the baseball look like a ping pong ball when he surrounds it with those 2 big fingers.
Right down Main Street. Strike 2. Good start here for De La Cruz. De La Cruz from El Sabo, Dominican Republic. Stands at 6'2", just a tick under 200 pounds. Here's the 0-2. That one fouled back. Good job there to stay alive by Escato.
Just a joy to be around, too. He's got so much positive energy. Ran into him. He was the first guy I ran into in the ballpark today when I got here, and he's always nice enough to stop and talk to me. And got a smile on his face every time. I give him the 8 or 9 words of Spanish that I know.
The 0-2. Just a little bit too far. Watt tried to frame it up. No dice.
There's a good spot there. Just trying to see if they could get Escato to go outside, extend the strike zone on the outside part of the plate. So now it's probably back to the splitter, I would guess. Get him to swing over top of something here.
1-2 to Escato. That one is put in play too hard. Lefebvre can't get the glove down in time. It'll go for a single. Einatone back in here to the second baseman. They'll hold him at first, but Escato, his 3rd single of the ballgame.
Therein lies the one problem with the splitter, in that if you get it up, it turns into kind of a slow version of a fastball. The splitter, you have to start below the belt, and if it starts above the belt, it's just going to drop right into the wheelhouse, and that's what happened there. And he ripped it too hard for Lefebvre to even have a chance to move.
Here's Carl. He's up for the 5th time today.
Runner
goes. It's put in play again. Einatone gets under it, tries to slide, won't make the catch. The runner will remain safe on a hit and run that, well, wasn't necessary. Will advance the runners, but Einatone couldn't quite get there on the slide and catch.
Just couldn't hang on to it. He tried to come in and slide on his butt, and he just caught his knee in and jarred himself just as he was trying to catch the ball, and it knocked it loose. Bad break for Nick. Otherwise, if that ball's hit 10 feet further, he catches it standing up, and he's on a run toward first, and it's an easy double play. So
I was going to say, with how far Escato was off the plate, we've seen Einatone make harder catch throws than that.
Yeah, really unfortunate break for the Red Sox there.
That one put in play. Will it find its way out?
That's going to reach the bus.
Yeah, the London team bus remains safe for now. Strike 1 here for Trent Lenahan, who, I mean, what a day he's had. He finally hit into a ground out his last time up, but 2 hits, one of them a home run, one of them an RBI single, and also a walk. Swung and missed there by Lenahan. De La Cruz gets himself ahead 0-2 once again. We always talk about it. It was a thing that the team needed to work on a little bit last year. They've done it a little better this year. Pitch to the count. You're 0-2. You know you got a little bit of wiggle room, and De La Cruz has some strikeout stuff. He can get a little creative here.
Yeah, this is splitter low.
That one is put in play.
Touch and throw.
Chance at the double. Does get it to Holick. Nice play there to just take the 2 outs and hold the runner at second.
That's the second time today with runners on first and second and nobody out that the Red Sox pitchers have gotten a double play ball. And this one works out even better. That was the easy play there, and that's exactly – Lefebvre did exactly what he should do. He had a ball that was taking him. When you're the third baseman in a situation with runners on first and second and less than 2 out, you go where the ball takes you. If the ball was hit, if you're going up the middle to field the ball, you go second to first for that double play. If the ball is taking you toward third base, you simply step on the bag and throw across the field.
First pitch swung on and missed by Deolio. For those watching at home that maybe aren't familiar because they don't see too many of them, how does the splitter differ to the batter's eye than a traditional curve or a changeup?
Well, the thing about the splitter is that it has very little spin on it, but it is a pitch that looks like a fastball coming out of the hand. And it is a hard-thrown ball. It's not quite as fast as the fastball, but it is comparable. It might be 3 or 4 miles an hour slower, depending on the pitcher. Some it affects more than others. So you get the ball stuck in between the first 2 fingers on your hand, and you just let it slide out, and it's not a knuckleball. It has a little bit of tumble spin to it, and the ball always drops down. And so at the end of the day, because it's so hard, you don't have any time to make a decision on it. And because it's dropping, generally speaking, if it drops hard, you will miss it. If it drops not quite so hard, you will beat it into the dirt, such as what happened with Lenahan there, who pounded it into the dirt right to the third baseman for an easy double play.
0-2, De La Cruz ahead once again. Could be 1 pitch away from getting out of a quick half inning. A little bit too high, says the home plate umpire. It'll go 1-2 to Deolio.
Yeah, he picked a real good time to throw a good splitter there because, like I say, that first batter, Escado, he had him to 2 strikes, and he hung that splitter, and Escado hammered it into the left field. So getting it in location, as I've talked about several times.
Put in play, not fielded cleanly by the second baseman. Runner comes around. They're going to send him. Paulo's the throw in. He holds up last minute. Would have been close, but Paulo showed off that great arm earlier in the ball game. That helps to hold runners in situations like that.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I thought they would send him there with 2 out, but tell you what, this is a scrappy London team, man. This is a much better hitting team than last year's team, that's for sure. They are deeper, and they've got more athleticism, and they run better, and everything is better about the offense of the London team. And they look pretty good early on. If they're pitching, like as they've always had good pitching, and of course they've got Skylar Janice, they're a really good closer. London could be a tough team this season.
Starling Joseph up here with runners on the corners. That one not put in play, narrowly misses the back of Roberto Caro on third. Goes foul.
So a tough hitter here in Starling Joseph, and you're probably going to want to spin something on the outside, get something off speed, and so it may seem a little early in the count for a splitter, but I think it probably that's probably what I would call here. Get a splitter, and let's see if you can get him out on a ground ball, keeping in mind you want to get another inning out of De La Cruz here today.
A little bit too high.
They tried the slider on the outside, and unfortunately it was just up a little bit. If he gets that down a little, that was the right pitch for the situation, I think. He may go back to it here. I'm not sure.
Dangerous bat of Tucker's Dunich on deck, so you'll want to get out of here as soon as he can. 1-1 missed. 1-2.
Yeah, real good pitch there. That's the difference between the slider that was up and the slider that's right in the right spot there, and the fact that it's, Joseph can hit the cheese all day long, and so again I go off speed here. He will swing at that outside slider.
A little bit too low in the dirt. Tried it on 1-2, while leaving it up at 2s. See what he goes with here. 2-2 against Joseph, who's got a pair of singles on the day for himself. One of them for an RBI in the 5th. Does have a pair of swinging strikeouts, though. So a true coin flip on this one.
Yeah, you want to get out of here right on this pitch.
That one too far, very well caught by Watt to prevent the wild pitch, 3-2.
Okay, so the runner on first is going to be going. The infield has to be aware of that. If it's a ground ball, you're going to have to throw across the diamond here.
The Red Sox defense stands to attention, ready for a big pitch here. They get him. What a pitch there by De La Cruz in a scary situation again. Kind of has that late movement that's just so hard to time up. Gets out of a big spot there.
Yeah, may have gotten a call there. That ball was right on the low outside edge. You could tell that Joseph didn't like it, but you're not going to make a big stink about a called third strike call when you're up 5 runs in the 8th inning. That's for sure. So good, overall good result. Like I say, a couple mistakes. That's the one thing we've noticed today is that London has hit just about every single mistake that a Brantford pitcher has thrown. So pretty impressive display by their offense. They're a deep team. They're a deep lineup. They're a pesky team, and they run really well. They steal a lot of bases. So they're going to be a difficult team to deal with. And I believe Caleb Casey is coming in to pitch the 8th inning for London. I don't know if we'll see Skylar Janice. It's a non-save situation, but having said that, it's their last game of the weekend, so just never know.
Taking a look around the league here in the Canadian Baseball League. Elsewhere, Hamilton already knocked off Toronto earlier today on the road at Christie Pitts. 8-2 the victory for the Hamilton Cardinals. The Chatham-Kent Barnstormers currently find themselves down to the Kitchener Panthers there at Jack Couch Park for Kitchener's home opener there. And it's going to be a shorter break for the Majors than it will be for the Red Sox this week. London Majors fans, you'll be back on the road at Forgy Jenkins Field in Chatham-Kent for Tuesday action. A rare Tuesday game there in the CBL. 7:35 p.m. the start time there for you London Majors fans for that contest in Chatham on Tuesday. And then you guys will be back at it on Thursday, once again on the road. It's a bit of an extended road trip here for the London Majors here at Jack Couch Park on Thursday, May 21st. And then you finally host a game at home on Friday at Labatt Park. So talk about that for plenty of games in a couple days. Got a game on Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for the Majors.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, they've got that game in Chatham, who came out and smashed Guelph on their home opener and then I think lost on the road in their second game. 4 games in 6 days. It's going to test their pitching staff. And so you could see that manager Roop Chanardad will want to get 2 innings out of Casey here to save Skylar Janice for later this week.
Then, of course, for the Red Sox, an extended period off.
Yeah, sort of the opposite, right?
Exactly. They'll take the Guelph Royals the day after they play London. That is on Saturday, May 23rd. So a week yesterday, that game in Guelph at Hastings Stadium, the home opener for the Guelph Royals. Then, of course, we're back here. Same team, same time, same place. A week today, Sunday, May 24th. The Red Sox face the Majors again here at Arnold Anderson.
And a shout out to our boy Mark Paré, who'll be calling that game, host of the IBL changeup or CBL changeup, excuse me. Do we have the jar? I think we have it. I think we're calling it a swear jar. Every time we say the words IBL, you got to put a loonie into the jar. And
we have a jar. We just haven't picked the charity it's going to yet. Big swing and a miss there for cancer. 1-1 now the count. It's Cantor with Holick behind him. Currently 0 for 3 today for Holick. He's still looking for his first hit back in his second stint with the Red Sox.
Yeah, I think he's just pressing a bit. You know what I mean? He wants to make a good impression. He's happy to be here. He's in a good spot. He's just pressing a little bit. It'll come.
I'll correct myself quickly. Did have one single on Friday in the 6th inning versus Welland. That one low, but nice movement. Fools Cantor. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Almost hits the batter, just misses his arm. 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, that was an infield hit that he had in front of the shortstop. So, like I said, not exactly the rock-solid contact we're used to seeing out of Holick, but it'll come.
What do they say? They say he went around. Cantor doesn't necessarily agree, but they often don't.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
Called strike 3 looking. That will bring up Tim Holick. More chatter there, the home plate umpire, now this time directing his attention to the Brantford dugout.
Brantford's upset. The irony being, they're not upset at Kinnear. They're upset at the first base umpire for calling that a swing. They vehemently disagreed.
First one low, very well blocked there by DeOlio with the glove.
You don't usually see that kind of emotion out of Jacob Cantor.
So Holick here. That one is put in play over at the shortstop. Piscotto can't glove it clean, and there you go. Tim Holick on base for the first time today. Might start a new rally as Ian Antone comes up next. I want to probably go down as an error in the scoring column. Looked like a very playable ball there for Piscotto. Just couldn't quite get it clean on the transfer.
Yeah, I just couldn't squeeze it. He bent over, picked it up, and looked like a Pro V hitting a soft green. Just bounce, stop.
So 9-4 ball game. London leads. Here comes Ian Antone with a runner on first, bottom of the 8th. That one high and wide. Nicely caught again by DeOlio.
This is a pretty good matchup for Ian Antone. I'd like to see him sit on a certain pitch in a certain location. Stay aggressive on that swing.
Almost a good take there.
Well, I was just going to say that very thing. That's a good take. That's a good pitch, right low and outside at the knees. That fastball at the knees on the black on the outside, that's a great pitch. When you have no strikes on you, there's no reason at all to swing at that.
1-1. That ball put in play right at the second baseman. Doesn't get the tag on the runner. Does go to second base, so it's fielder's choice. Ian Antone gets to first base. It was a close throw. That throw to second base, that very well could have been 2 safe runners there.
Yeah, absolutely. You had Bernie in a situation where it looked like he was going to try and tag Holick going by and try and get the double play, but Holick was by him by the time he fielded it, so he was running into the plate and had to throw across his body to get it to second.
So up next, here's Corrosis. Swings and misses on the first pitch he sees. 0-1. Still has Holick on first. Pardon me, Ian Antone is now subbed in for Holick after fielder's choice. Now on deck is Watt. Kicks and deals. That one too low, ball 1. Corrosis off to a very good start here. In his time with the Red Sox. Again, wasn't expected to be opening day third baseman. Subbed in for Ortega. How one drops in, pulls the pin for strike 2. Nice pitch.
Yeah, that was a nice late breaking curveball there. Slider, whatever he's calling that. Nice breaking pitch. Another BC native in this league, and we've seen a lot of them this year, haven't we?
Cassie a little bit wide there on that one. 2-2. So back-to-back lefty bats, Ian Antone into Corrosis. Remember, Ian Antone is now on first after the fielder's choice. 2-1, 2 outs. Too high, 3-1, good take there. Really like what I'm seeing here from Corrosis and a couple of these Red Sox batters. They know it's going to take hits to get them back in this ball game, but they're waiting for the count to come their way to really get the most out of swinging the wood. That one catches the bat, catches the ground, and caught by DeOlio, 3-2.
So with 3-2 and 2 outs, the runner will be off with the pitch. First baseman will back up and not hold him on, especially with a left-handed hitter up.
What do you expect to see here if you're the batter?
Well, that backdoor curveball worked really well, and he struck out on a curveball last at bat, so.
That one was hard thrown, put off into the first base parking lot. The cars have filed back in. I believe another junior game starting at the field over. So still full count, 2 outs. Big pitch here if you're AJ Corrosis. You've already acquainted yourself well to the Red Sox faithful on Friday. Can he do it again here on Sunday? And right down the middle. Strike 3 there as the Brantford Red Sox crowd shows a little bit of frustration. 2 strikeouts looking there in the inning.
Well, apparently AJ was sitting curveball too, like I was thinking, because he just threw the fastball at the knees and rung him up.
Well, don't go anywhere, Red Sox fans. When we're back in 90 seconds here for Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball, we're going to have my favorite new segment of the series. Brian's Popeyes Player of the Game will be awarded in just a few moments. Remember, subject to change. It's obviously your segment, Brian. You make the call, but we'll award an early contender when we're right back for the top of the 9th inning on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball, presented by Mr. And we're back on Mr. Lubin Tires, CBL Brantford Red Sox YouTube Baseball, presented by Mr. Lubin Tires. Top of the 9th begins the final inning of work in a 9-4 ball game that sees the London Majors leading here in the late stages. We'll get to my favorite segment of the week in just a moment. Tucker Zdunich now up to bat. So Zdunich up here versus De La Cruz, who, as we suggested, will stay in the ball game for the 8th and 9th. Here's the 1-0. That one hit by Zdunich, up in the air, should be playable.
That is a mile in the air.
Ranging back is Carosis. Black will be the one to field it. Nicely caught there for the first out. And, well, here we go. Popeyes Player of the Game, presented by Brian Hawley. Now, it's been one that there's been some discussion today because we got some great contenders. Brian, who are we going with as our final Popeyes Player of the Game?
Well, it's a perfect segue with a guy just caught the pop fly with a home run and a double and some good defense out there. Brody Black is our Player of the Game today.
Brody Black, his first time this season winning the Popeyes Player of the Game, an award that is, to this point, I believe, only been won by Jacob Cantor on Friday, and now Brody Black on Sunday. We'll get a leaderboard going, but yeah, exceptional work there by Brody. Double, and of course a home run here today. And he was hitting homers for the home side before it was cool. He did it prior to to the eventual homer for Ian Antone and Cassidy Watts. So Brody Black, congratulations, and yeah, great fielding today out there in right. Yep. He's had a couple really good snags.
And the honor of hitting the first home run of the season for the Brantford Red Sox.
That one swung and missed on there.
That's filthy. That's just a filthy pitch.
The pitch inside part of the zone, almost loses control. Nice job by Watt to keep that one in front of him. This is a substitute here.
I think that caught the umpire's foot.
David Dreers has come in here for previously Jarrett Burney's spot in the lineup. Dreers from Abbotsford, British Columbia, former UBC Thunderbird.
Yet another BC boy. We're going to have to take stock on exactly how many guys from BC are in this league.
24-year-old lefty, first year in the CBL. That one struck pretty well out towards center. Paulos ranging back over his shoulder. That one off the wall. He'll play it back in. Stand-up double and his first hit of the day for Dreers. There you go. Welcome to the Canadian Baseball League, young man. The 24-year-old finds himself on second base.
Wow, that was a big poke. That was nearly 400 feet. He hit that ball. If he pulls that at all, it's gone.
So Luis Jean's got a man in front of him here. De La Cruz, he found himself in a situation with a couple base runners in the 8th, got out of it quite well. He's going to need to do so again with one out at the top of the 9th. Wants to give his offense a chance to strike back in this ball game in the all-important bottom of the ninth. First pitch to Jean, catches the zone, bottom corner. A little bit of disagreement there from Jean. 0-1 nonetheless.
He's been giving that pitch all day long, so there's no really at this point. There's really no reason for anybody to be chirping about that outside pitch that he's been giving all day long.
One of my favorite things about De La Cruz, as he gets a swing and a miss there on that one from Jean, is De La Cruz always does such a great job. He comes into the ball game and it feels like he's immediately learned the strike zone from watching other pitchers. He seems like an analytical guy that he comes out. Not only is his control really solid, but when there is a bit of a swing one way or the other in terms of direction you're getting the zone that day, he has a pretty good control of
I'd agree.
where to put it.
The term I would use, he's a student of the game.
And the student of the game just got an A+. Swing and miss from Louis Jean.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is what a filthy splitter looks like.
I know I said it would take me about 8 hours and I wouldn't put a ball in play on Armitage. You could give me 8 days, and I don't think I don't know if I could swing without falling over on pitches like that. So here we go. Babiuk back up here for his fourth time today. Bottom of the lineup turns over in a moment. De La Cruz hoping this is the last batter he sees today.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's a hard pass. No thanks.
One high and wide for ball one. With how well De La Cruz is able to place those balls when he really needs a strike, you don't mind him getting behind a little bit. Here's the 1-0.
Check that.
And a check. No swing. 2-0. Of course, no arms warming up in the Red Sox bullpen.
No, I wouldn't think so. Not with 5 runs. Like I say, if Brantford gets a rally going and maybe gets the tying run into the on-deck circle, you might see Janice. But otherwise, I'm sure they'll give Casey every chance to finish the game off.
That one in for a
really
strike.
Nice slider there.
Nice off speed once again. 2-1, 2 outs. Big plate appearance here versus Babiuk. Babiuk 2 for 4 today. 2 singles, 2 swipes, and 2 RBIs. Out in too low, too tight. Watt nicely blocked, 3-1. Still got Triers there on second after he came in to pinch hit for Bernie.
Yep. So you got a 9-hole hitter here with the top of the order on deck. Fastball, fastball, fastball. Make him beat you.
Let's see if he can play catch up here. That one in too low. 5-ball walk there administered to Babiuk, his first base on balls of the day. Escato will come back up for his 6th time.
Yeah, he's had an up and down day, hasn't he? Started his day with a couple of strikeouts. He's made a couple errors out in the field.
Ooh.
But he was a part of the big 5th inning as well.
Yeah, he was indeed. There really wasn't a single bat there for London that didn't contribute in some way. Bernie had a fielder's choice. Sac fly for Louis Jean. The rest of the lineup had a single.
Yeah, I think they had the first out, got the 4th run.
That one is sent foul. Shouldn't be playable.
Uh-oh.
Whoa. Great job there by our very own cameraman Ryan on first base to get those shots. We'll do a postseason compilation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, folks, you can't see what we're looking at by and large, but so many fly balls end up heading right toward parked cars over here on the first base side.
Here's the 1-1. Swung and missed on for 1-2. 1 pitch away from getting out of the top of the 9th with runners in position.
I tell you what, Babiuk is 30 feet off the first base there. They could. I feel like Cassidy Watt could almost run the ball up there and get him out.
Escato faces 1-2 against De La Cruz. That one is put in play. Sent out left center. Going back. Tracking under it. Paulos makes the catch, retires the side, and Brantford's offense will only need to make up 5 runs here in the bottom of the 9th. Great job there by De La Cruz. 2 innings of work to limit the damage. Quick shake of the hand there with team owner Terry Smith.
Yep, good job there. I mean, It's a two-stage process to score a run off a cruise. You got to get on, and then somebody's got to come in and get him in, and that's that. He's one of those pitchers who seems to get tougher when he has traffic around him. That's a rare breed, to be honest with you.
Some guys just live for the moment. You play baseball for the moments you can make the most impact.
They really bear down and make good pitches when they have runners in scoring position, and we've been seeing that all night tonight for the 2 innings that Cruz has pitched.
Well, here we go, bottom of the 9th, and, well, we had the bottom of the 9th on Friday in a position where the offense probably felt pretty out of control, but the way they were able to hit early on, of course, the power swings, but also just a general ability for the team to put competitive balls in play, to put grounders in that London will every once in a while make the mistake on. I think this feels a lot more attainable, Brian, of a comeback than Friday.
Well, you know what? I think we'll probably see a pinch hitter here. I think I see Andrew Savage grabbing a bat.
Now, Savage did play quite a bit in the later part of last season. Remember, Cassidy Watt, in an attempt to take off some days defensively as catcher, would start playing around the field. Savage was pretty much full-time the guy that came in as the catcher after that. Woodstock, Ontario's own. Hit 3 homers last season.
Well, he had a hot start. You remember he came in and got 3 hits in his first game in Guelph, right?
That's right, yeah. 11 RBIs on the season for him and 21 hits. Big body, 6'2", 215 pounds, number 17. Unless we see an adjustment, it will be Savage into Lefebvre once again. Lefebvre looking to get on the board with a hit today.
Got Adam Thuss coming in to catch the 9th inning, giving Edward Diolio the rest of the day off.
Here we go. All comes down to this, Red Sox fans. First pitch is put in play, in the air. Right center field, has wind under it. Will it go out? Oh, my goodness. Welcome back, Andrew Savage. Only needed to see one pitch to put a homer on the board. His 4th career Canadian Baseball League home run. Andrew Savage came into this one hot, and Savage is the right way to put that home run. 9-5 now the deficit.
Well, I tell you, that was quite a swing. He really jumped all over that first pitch, like you said. Got it up in the air, and it just got it into that jet stream, and out it went.
I swear there's a magnet in that Terry Summerhays sign in right field. Once again, just barely clearing the outfield fence. Actually, over the head there of Lucas Lefebvre for ball 1.
Well, it was great effort by Zdunich. We all had to wait for a second. There was a quick pause there because he went up, climbed up over the fence. I wondered if he brought that back.
In for strike 1 on the low side. Here we go. The Red Sox crowd, they're on the edge of their seat now. 1-1, put in play. Out to left field, going to be way down the foul line. Comes down. Very nice catch there made by the left fielder. What a play for Jaden Babiuk. You have to have a great first step on that ball to be able to track it that far down the baseline. He did it.
Absolutely. That was a tough play. A great running catch made there by Babiuk.
It's a heartbreaker for Brantford. That ball gets down. This looks like a different ball game. So Savage homered. That one right down the middle. Savage homered. Then that ball flies out to left field there for Lefebvre. Here is Bateman.
Yeah, he really hit, like that ball was even carried to left field, considering there's no help from the wind going that way.
That one put in play. To the shortstop. To first. Play made. Nice catch there by Lenahan.
Good play by Escato there. He's had a little bit of difficulty today. Made a couple errors, but he played that one flawlessly. Picked it up. Right left field, right left throw.
Well, here we go. Bottom of the lineup comes up for the 4th time today. Ethan Paulos hit .325 last year. We're going to need to see a little bit of that on-base prowess here if the Red Sox want to keep the door open.
Yeah, in the bigger picture here, it would be nice to see Paulos get a hit because he's over 3. He hasn't really got it going just yet.
The Ancaster, Ontario native, has the game on his bat. Wide to the zone. They'll give him the call. One apiece now for Paulos. I don't mind that take.
Again, when you got a pitch coming out there with no strikes on you, no sense going after that unless you're looking for it. Like if you're looking for it and want to hit the ball the other way, and in fairness, that wouldn't be a horrible play. You've got a third baseman right in on the grass, shortstop playing up the middle. There's a big hole there to go through. So, if you go up to the plate saying, first outside fastball I see, I'm going to lean in and just poke it through the 5-6 hole. Nothing wrong with that strategy whatsoever. Especially when you're down 4 with 2 out, you just want base runners.
3-1 pitch. Paulo swings hard, can't find the baseball. 3-2.
Yeah, like I say, bigger picture, I'd really just like to see Paulus get going here.
This could be the ball game. Paulos puts it in play. Might get past the shortstop. Escato's got a hand on it. No, he doesn't. Rolls through on him. One of the rare misplays there is that ball just barely misses the glove of number 8.
He had no chance. Even if he fields that cleanly, there's no way he gets a guy that runs like Paulus. So that is, ironically or coincidentally, pretty much exactly what I was talking about, where he got that outside pitch, hit it where it's pitched, just hit it through the ground, and busted it down to first.
Well, for the first time, the Popeyes player of the game will come up after being awarded the award. We'll see if any positive juju comes of that. Strike one called on Brody Black, who's had a great day for himself today.
Yeah, it would be very nice if he could reward my trust in him with another base hit.
Here's the 0-1. Went up a little bit too high. Evens it up at 1 apiece. The speedy Paulos on first base now.
Janice is up. He's not throwing. He's just walking around. He's got a ball in his glove, and I would assume if
that one is put in play. Smoked out there to left. Oh, my goodness. It goes foul by inches. So close. There's a set of backyards along a fence there. If it's one address over, that ball is smoked for a home run. Black just missed Pater.
That was way gone. He destroyed that one.
1-2. Can Black catch this one again? Swings over it. Strike 3. That's the ball game. The London Majors take this one on the road, 9-5. Extend their season. So, 2-0 is not a bad start to a new Canadian Baseball League season. In your first weekend, they get one over Barrie, and today they get the Red Sox. The Red Sox, my goodness, when they hit the baseball, they hit it hard today. That one there was nearly what would have been the 5th home run of the day for the home side, but not to be. 9-5 will be your final score. Remember, London, you guys have plenty of baseball ahead coming up this week. Tuesday on the road, Thursday on the road, and then you're back Friday for what is a busy week of baseball. They play the Guelph Royals on Friday, who we'll see if you're a Brantford Red Sox fan our next time we play. That's going to be Saturday on the road at Hastings Stadium in Guelph, but then back home on the Sunday for more action against this very same team, the London Majors. We'll see them on May 24th. I want to thank our entire crew, of course, our director, Brandon, our cameraman, Ryan, Chris Ortega for coming in the booth. That was cool to have him in the 5th inning there. Get a perspective on his rehab, hopefully very quick rehab from that scary moment on Friday. It's always a great time. We hope you guys had a great day of Sunday afternoon Canadian baseball. Best of luck to the teams around the league, and we very soon hope you'll be back on next Sunday's action, because this season's just shaping up. The Red Sox showed a lot of potential in the bat there today, and we still got more arms to see. Jose Arias still yet to make his first start in Brantford. I think that's what a lot of people are going to have circled on their calendar.
Yeah, I would think that's assuming all of the rigmarole of the paperwork goes through. We're going to be in a great spot there to get Jose his first start of the year, and hopefully we'll see Martinez this week, and maybe even Leandro Mejia.
Still plenty more hope to come for the Brantford Red Sox as they start their 2026 CBL campaign. As the kids run the bases, that'll do it for us today. Brian Hawley alongside me today doing a great job as always. Thanks for all his insight, and my goodness, we had plenty to talk about as we always do. For myself, our entire broadcast team, I'm Marshall Crocker saying thanks for watching on Brantford Red Sox CBL YouTube Baseball presented by Mr. Lubin Tires. We'll see you right back here in a week's time on Sunday, May the 24th. Have a great week, ladies and gentlemen.